It's not too sweet. It's refreshing, crisp, and neat. Canada Dry Ginger Ale. It's not too sweet.
It's not too sweet. I repeat, it's not too sweet. Canada Dry cools your thirst. It's a taste that can't be beat.
It's not too sweet. It's a cold, refreshing treat. Canada Dry Ginger Ale. It's not too sweet.
Regular or diet, it's more refreshing because it's not too sweet.
3, 2,
Yeah.
1,
Here we go.
0.
Robbie Robertson. Hello, hello, hello. This is the crew of the Jupiter 2 with Lou Colicchio, Mark Smith, and Perry Dedovich. The crew.
I thought it was
Jupiter
Dr. Lou
2.
Colicchio.
That's right. Yeah, Doctor. That's right. And I'm Penny. And this is the Music Relish Show episode. What number is this? 59?
Yep.
59. Wow.
Yeah.
How's it going, guys?
59 big ones.
59. Yeah.
Going
good.
good. I've had a little heartbreak this weekend because my beloved coach of LC, Liverpool, is stepping down at the end of the season. One of the best coaches of my lifetime. So I'm not a sports guy, but when it comes to Liverpool, yeah.
When
When
you're
it
not a
comes to-
sports guy.
You're not a
talk about
sports guy.
soccer
You're,
all
you're
the
heartbroken
fucking
over a head coach retiring.
I'm not a sports guy. Okay.
A soccer fan's really not a sport fan.
But anyway, tonight we're going to talk about Bell Sound Studios in New York City, former Bell Sound Studios, some songs that were recorded there. We're going to talk about some worst songs, possibly some of the worst songs,
Yes.
according to some
No.
publications. We shall see.
Most definitely worse songs.
Most definitely. We're going to have some
course.
random relish topics. We're going to have some music trivia. And we may have a look at the Cars playing Just What I Needed. We shall see. So I want to say one thing, though. First off, I listened to an interview with Jim Keltner just the other day. He did it just a few days ago.
Perry? Jim Keltner, the what?
Jim Keltner, the fantastic studio drummer who's played with all the Beatles separately.
Yep.
He was his aside. What's his name? Milton Sidebury.
He was Buster Sidebury in the Traveling Wilbury.
Buster Sidebury, dubbed by George Harrison, by the way, that nickname. Jim Keltner played on so many records.
Oh, yeah. I knew him from Eric Clapton's band. That's how I knew about him.
Sure.
He seems like he did about an hour-long interview, and he seems like such a nice guy. All he did through the whole interview was praise other drummers. And he said when he was, he said even Bernard Purdy, he says, he was listening to an old rock and roll record.
Bernard Purdy is a great drummer. I mean, he just is. Whether he's whether he's a claim to not anything,
Yeah, and he also he was talking about pretty much Hal Blaine, and he made a point about Hal Blaine, how by the way, Hal Blaine was his mentor also. Got him started in the studio work.
Also Jim Gordon.
And he mentioned Jim Gordon, and he mentioned Jeff Porcaro, and he mentioned Jake LaMotta. No, that's the boxer.
Jerry Marotta. Rick Marotta.
Yeah,
Jerry Marotta's a great
Jake Marotta.
I didn't go down, Ray. I didn't go down. Bring it over.
But anyway, Jim Keltner was making this point. He said, on the Fifth Dimension, One Less Bell to Answer, which, by the way, we, on our Burt Bacharach tribute, that song was played, and, we spoke a little bit about, you had mentioned about Hal Blaine on drums. And he said back then, he goes, there was no click track. He said, Hal Blaine was the click.
He was the click track.
And the whole band followed him. The whole band followed Hal.
Yeah.
Because he was the timekeeper for the whole thing. And so, in other words, this whole interview, he was just praising other drummers.
Yeah.
Praising other drummers.
I think when you're that good, I mean, who's he going to talk about? Himself? I think. He's a very humble guy too, but he's very.
Absolutely.
He's a laid back guy. I think he's a real just a cool dude.
He's an Oklahoma guy.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember in Modern Drummer there was a whatever drums he was endorsing. He goes, "I like these drums. They're just like me. They're fat and warm."
Yeah. And again, he was always talking about serving the song.
Yeah.
That's just what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then I listened to. We played it on our Burt Bacharach tribute too. You had made a point there on the Burt Bacharach tribute about he played on the Carpenters, Close to You, right? Just like me.
Hal Blaine or Jim Keltner?
Hal Blaine.
Yeah, I believe
Hal
so.
Blaine. And you had said it's so slow, but I noticed that he comes in as soon as Karen says a word, that's when he starts his little slow fill. It's perfect. So yeah, all he did was praise Hal Blaine and other drummers throughout this interview.
And a lot of drummers have learned how to play with a singer. You know, who played with Elvis? Was it Ron Tutt? Ron Tutt.
Well, the later Elvis, the Vegas Elvis.
Yeah. And Max with Bruce Springsteen, he goes, you got to watch what he's doing. You know, amongst other things. But Hal Blaine worked well with singers.
Yeah. But
I heard "Dizzy" by Tommy Rowe the other day. The drumming is so cool in that song.
That's bubblegum. I like that stuff. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Bubblegum drums.
And so you know what? Let's go into Bell Sound Studios again. At our Burt Bacharach tribute, Mark had said that Dionne Warwick recorded this particular song at Bell Sound Studios. Might have been "Do You Know the Way to San Jose," or one of the many others that she recorded. Yeah,
so she recorded the California song in New York.
Yeah, but Bell Sound Studios was the place to be in the 50s and 60s, even into the early 70s. When they went bankrupt in the mid 70s, the Hit Factory moved in, and that's a famous studio. Yeah.
Oh, so Bell Sound became the Hit Factory.
Bell Sound declared bankruptcy and Hit Factory moved in.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if they bought the equipment or brought in their own, but I just wanted to go through some of the songs. This is what a fantastic studio this was. Let's see if you recognize some of these songs. Dion and the Belmonts recorded at Bell Sound Studios. This is in the late 1950s. They did a song called "Tell Me Why." How does that go? Do you know?
Dion and the Belmonts. Ain't nothing but sorry, that's 90s song.
No. Well, there's a lot of songs called "Tell Me Why." The Beatles had a song called "Tell Me Why" also.
I don't know that one.
All right, but also "I Wonder Why." I wonder. Whoa. That was Dion and the Belmonts. They recorded that at Bell Sound Studios also.
That was "Runaway," wasn't it?
I Wonder Why. Teenager in
I
Love.
Wonder Why.
That's it. It's a doo-wop. It's a doo-wop. Yeah.
It's Italo rock.
I Wonder Why. Yeah. Yep.
So Bell Sound was an Italo rock studio.
Well, at times, baby. I suppose it was. Yeah. And Dion also recorded "Teenager in Love." Why must I be? That was all at Bell Sound Studios.
Mm-hmm. Now, Dion, whatever you think of the genre, who's a good singer?
Absolutely. Dion DiMucci. Dion DiMucci. The Mooch. Well, I thought that was another guy. Well, we won't go into that. There was a group called the Monotones, and they recorded a big hit there too.
What was that? The Mooch. Dion the Mooch.
Dion the Mooch.
The Own Eaters recorded there too.
Paul Anka recorded there. Put your head on my shoulder. That recorded at Bell Sound.
Wow.
New York City. Yep.
Was he a teenager then?
He was a teen. He was a teen idol. Yeah. He recorded "Puppy Love" there too.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And didn't Donny Osmond cover?
Donny Osmond re-recorded that. Yeah, sometime in the 70s. Yep. But Paul Anka, "Puppy Love."
Paul Anka
and "Lonely Boy."
For those that don't know, that's Paul Anka.
Paul Anka. Yeah.
Paul
Sorry
Kenkel.
about that.
I think he's from the same neighborhood as Dion DeMuch.
Oh, yeah. And Buddy Holly recorded "Rave On" there, 1958.
No shit.
Yeah, at Bell Sound. Yeah, because Buddy went to New York. Remember? Buddy moved to New York. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So that was just a Buddy Holly "Rave On," not the Crickets.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah. Right.
What a great song, though. "Rave On," you got me reeling it.
Rave on, you got me reeling.
You say
Gary Busey did that one in the Buddy Holly story.
That sounds like Rick Ocasek, and I love you.
Oh yeah. He had to openly admit that he was a Buddy Holly freak at some point. I mean, his whole vocal style, the hiccupy, yeah.
Yes. The Monotones recorded "The Book of Love," and I wonder, who wrote the book of... That was recorded at Bell Sound also. Yeah. That was in the late 50s, too.
I'm starting to like doo-wop. I'm starting to like doo-wop.
So much of it was recorded. Little Anthony and the Imperials recorded "Tears on My Pillow."
Wow.
Yeah. Well, at Bell Sound Studios. The Flamingos. I only have eyes for 3-part harmony. You. Yep, that was recorded at Bell Sound.
I think that is one of the top 10. That's a top 10 50 song, I think.
Yeah.
I bet you that's on.
Was that in Bronx Tale? I think
that was
Bronx
the Flamingos.
Tale, right?
Probably, yeah.
Probably, yeah. A lot of those. Yep.
My love.
How about Lloyd Price? Stagger Lee. That was recorded at Bell Sound also.
That's an epic.
Yeah. And 1959, Wilbert Harrison. Oh, Kansas City. Right?
Okay.
Kansas City by Wilbert Harrison.
It was recorded in Kansas City.
Interesting thing. It took 30 minutes and cost $40 to record that song.
Holy
wow.
Oh, my God.
1959, though.
Well, yeah, I know. That was probably like, okay, that might be a paycheck, back in 1959.
Yeah.
Well, now, you know who did the best version of Kansas City?
Don't say Paul McCartney.
Yeah, I am, man.
Yeah?
I think he sang it better than all of them.
I don't know. Better than the original? I don't know.
I think he sang it better.
Okay. 1959, The Hawk, Ronnie Hawkins, records a song there called 40 Days at Bell Sound Studios.
Right. Was it with the Hawks? What year was it? 59?
1959.
It's the
Ronnie
Hawks.
Hawkins.
It's the Hawks.
Yeah.
Levon Helm,
yep.
Robbie Robertson, Ricky Manuel, and Garth Hudson.
In 59? I thought they didn't get on board till like the early 60s.
I don't know about that.
Well, it'd be a good thing to talk about for the... If anyone knows, by the way, if anyone knows the answer to that, leave us a comment. Ronnie Hawkins, 40 Days, recorded in 1959. Were the band, the members to be known as the band, were they there?
If you want to email us, what's the email, Perry?
Go ahead, give the email, Mark.
I forget it. It's musicrelishshow@gmail.com. Did I get it
right?
I'm getting good now. I got to pronounce Lou's name
Bravo.
right.
Perry?
So,
I think the new guy gets to keep his job.
All right. Yeah, the new guy.
The new guy.
The new guy has been here for as long as we have. Only
Come
for
on,
six
guys.
extra
You're
shows.
hazing me. You're hazing me again. I don't
friggin'
like
episodes you weren't here. Right?
Yeah.
But I was a big fan of those 4 episodes.
You're just as responsible.
Benny King at Bell Sound Studios records Save the Last Dance for Me.
Oh.
Yep.
I'm seeing some, but you're not up there yet. That really surprised me.
Elvis, the Everly Brothers record Let It Be Me.
I love that song.
Wow.
And it was the first song they ever recorded outside of Nashville.
Oh, wow.
At Bell Sound Studios, Let It Be Me.
Wow.
Boy, their voices just sounded so good together, right?
Yeah.
Martin Luther, Phil and Don.
They're the part of 50s rock I really like.
Yeah. Ask Nick Lowe and Dave Edmonds about that. They love that stuff,
I'm trying to find some information whether it was the Hawks on that.
So, 1960s.
Hawkins and the Hawks.
1960s, early 1960s. Benny King records Spanish Harlem and Stand By Me at Bell Sound Studios in New York City. Spanish Harlem's a great song. So Stand By Me. John Lennon recorded that, right, for his rock and roll album?
I don't like that album.
Yeah, I like that version, though, that he recorded. I do like the way he's just strumming.
Well, the musicians he had on that rock and roll album were great. In fact, I have a little thing later on. In fact, may as well. No, I'll save it for later.
Did he produce that? I think he did.
Phil Spector was involved, but Phil Spector got weird. Like took the tapes and stuff.
Took a long time to get released.
The FBI's following me, and
there was a gun involved too. Yeah,
there was some gunplay involved.
I think he held a gun on Lennon. I think.
Well, it gets even better.
Not Trotsky, but Lennon.
Don't forget that John Lennon was recording that because he was in trouble. He owed. No, I'm thinking
Morris Levy.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. The whole reason he did that was for payback.
Yeah.
Now, Dion, without the Belmonts, Dion solo records
Mooch?
"Run Around Sue" at Bell Sound Studios.
Wow.
That's a great song.
Yes, it is.
That's a rock and roll song.
It
"Run
is.
Around Sue."
Yep. Yeah, it is.
With a little touch of little flair of doo-wop in there, right?
Mhm.
You know, like a little tail end of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. And so the Rascals. I mean, I think all those, all those bands of that ethnicity did that kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, Some Kind of Wonderful, I think the group was called the Deftones. They record Some Kind of Wonderful there. And you know who re-recorded that? Grand Funk.
Yes.
That's a cover.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They did right there. That's an old, that's an old
Right,
early
yeah.
1960s song. Yeah. Up on the Roof.
We actually, Liberace did that too. It goes, some kind of wonderful. It's some kind of wonderful.
So did that.
Yeah,
What's
she
his name?
is.
Lawrence Welk.
Hey,
That's
Gene Pitney
wonderful.
recorded a Police song there, "Every Breath I Take."
And, Up on the Roof and On Broadway were recorded there also.
Wow. So Phil Spector recorded his guitar. He played guitar on that. So he was there
Yeah.
producing.
And
Right.
Wow.
Burt Bacharach was discovered Dionne Warwick singing backup on "They Say the Neon Lights Are Bright" on Broadway. On one of those sessions, he discovers, like Mark had suggested, he discovered Dionne Warwick there
Yeah.
at Bell Sound
At Bell.
Studios.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that where she discovered astrology too?
Where history was made.
Yeah. Yep.
And even after them, the Hit Factory, Bruce
Yeah.
didn't Bruce record Born to Run there?
Yeah. He was moved there after the song was recorded.
Yeah,
in,
but it wasn't Bell
94.
Sound then. It was the
It was Hit Factory. Yeah.
Yeah,
We need
but
to get
Dionne
back.
Warwick.
I like this paper. We need to get back more to the academic side of the Music Relish show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't.
We
talked
gotta make
about
it
an
fun.
album.
We gotta make
Yeah.
it fun.
Yeah.
Well, we're still in the 60s now. Dionne Warwick records "Don't Make Me Over" or "Don't Fuck Me Over."
Don't fuck me over.
And "Walk On By." And "Do You Know the Way to San Jose?" Right?
Sand
Velvet-
Jose.
Isley Brothers at Bell Sound Studios record "Twist and Shout."
Wow.
Yeah.
That alone is worth the legend. You know.
The cover
Yeah.
of La Bamba, right?
What's up?
Bell Sound Studios, New York City. The Shirelles record "Will You Love Me? Will You Love Me Tomorrow?" Yep.
Wow.
And Mama said there'll be days like this. There'll be days. Mama said, right? Yeah.
Cool.
This is a fantastic lineup of songs.
It gets
Barry.
better.
Yeah.
Del Shannon records "Runaway" at Bell Sound
Wow.
Studios in New York
Wow.
City. Yep. I love that song. That is a great song, Del
I think
Shannon.
that's the only song his I like. I'm not a big fan of "Hats Off to Larry."
Hats off to he recorded that there as well, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
This is one Lou probably knows a lot about. The Four Seasons record "Big Girls Don't Cry" at Bell Sound Studios. Yeah.
I can't do it.
Well, I've
They
come to
don't
like the
cry.
Four. You know, I like the Four Seasons now.
I do too,
Yeah.
Lou. You got me into them.
Yeah.
This is a hot studio. I mean, this is the hot studio place to be.
Yeah, man.
You know? Leslie Gore records "It's My Party and I Cry If I Want to" at Bell Sound Studios in the 60s.
I'm wondering. So it'd be curious to know who the musicians are.
Now, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff, Phil Spector, that just reeks of Wrecking Crew. But all those other things, all those other Del Shannon. I mean, who?
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
This is not.
Yeah.
It's not like Phil Spector's sessions. You know,
Right,
this
right,
is,
right.
You know, Burt Bacharach and doing
Sure.
Dionne Warwick and Leslie Gore. "It's My Party,"
Leslie Gore.
and them record
That-
Gloria at Bell
that-
Sound Studios
That
in New York
shocked
City.
me.
Yeah,
I assumed it was recorded in England. I
I
really
assumed
did.
it was recorded in. Yeah.
Wow.
me.
Yep.
Wow.
The
Is there any-
McCoys.
do you have any more background information, like who owned it? Who owned it?
Who owned what?
Or Bell Sound or Bell Studio or Bell Sound?
No. It's just you know, I was just doing. I had this from the other week. I just wanted
Right.
songs that recorded there.
Hey, Perry, did you know
I'm sure
that-
it was owned by a few people.
It's a bottomless well of hits.
Well, backing up to Gore, Leslie Gore there.
Bear's having a keg party.
Phil Ramone was a studio operator, and he acted under producer Quincy Jones to engineer Leslie Gore's vocal overdubs for the recording.
Leslie Gore?
So,
Leslie Gore party?
Phil Ramone. He worked with
Ramone.
Yeah.
He was under Quincy.
You work with the Mooch.
The McCoys record Hang On Sloopy at Bell Sound Studios.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who were the McCoys?
Rick Derringer and some other guys.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Rick. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
But when
hoochie
you
coo.
see that, when you ever see that YouTube thing with the Sloopy girl dancing?
I don't think
There's
so.
it's a Sloopy girl, but that was 10 years after the McCoys. The McCoys had that song in like 65. Rick Derringer re-recorded it in like 75, and that's when the Sloopy girl was dancing around in the.
but he was on the original.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
He was a
Tommy
McCoy.
James records Hanky Panky at Bell Sound Studios.
Wow.
Yep.
Keep
It still gets better.
Keep
Bobby
going.
Hebb, Bell Sound Studios. Sonny.
Sonny.
What?
I love
mean,
that song.
so
I
do
love
I.
that song.
That
Now,
song is just great.
It is. A lot of young artists now are trying to capture that sort of loungy, cool loungy
It's
sound.
like free, cool soul, but not over the top soul, right? It's just cool. Yeah.
It's like it's pop soul.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a plimp soul.
Oh, it gets even better. Mitch Ryder, Devil with the Blue Dress, recorded at Bell Sound Studios.
Wow.
I thought that was a Midwestern recording.
You would
Just- I
assume
don't
they
know why.
recorded up in Michigan or something,
Iron
right?
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
They were the Detroit Wheels, weren't they?
Yep. Well, they
Yeah,
were Detroit Wheels with a backing band for Mitch Ryder.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Roberta Flack records Feel Like Making Love.
Wow.
Good song.
Oh, baby. Right? And one of the last things, Kiss records their debut album at Bell Sound
Shock me.
Studios.
the debut album.
Yep. At Bell
That's why
Sound
it sounded
Studios.
like shit. It was not made for a hard rock band. bad
Everything
engineering.
else there is classic except for that.
Yeah.
That I guess. That's funny.
I
And
heard
in- Go ahead.
Kiss's producers were mostly recorded commercial jingles, like the producers on those first couple albums. So that's probably why the sound was subpar,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And 1976, Bell Sound Studios declares bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And in 1981, the Hit Factory moves in.
Oh, wait.
Yep.
So
Wait.
Bruce didn't record Born to Run there.
What was the other big station in New York at that time?
Well, the Hit Factory probably had another location and then
Yeah.
moved to where the former
All
Bell
right.
Sound Studios was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like the Ritz
Yeah. Yep.
and other places.
Yeah. So that was a lot of stuff recorded at Bell Sound Studios. Like
That's a
that was
shit. That's a shit ton of history, man.
that was a place to be, man. All those songs recorded there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Lou.
Boy,
Lou?
time machine stuff. What's up?
The Born to Run was Record Plant. We had our
The
studios.
record
mixed up.
plant.
Yeah.
That was Jerry Ragavoy's place.
Yeah.
Well, what was the one? The Hit Factory had like Bon Jovi's uncle or something ran that place,
Bon
right?
Jovi. Bon Jovi.
Jovi.
Yeah.
And John Bon Jovi was sweeping up.
Lou and I used to work with John Bon Jovi.
That's right.
Really? Can you give me an
Wasn't he a
autograph?
heavy metal guitar player?
Yeah, I told him. I said,
Ingve.
this guy's name was John. There's something a name similar to that. I won't say it, but he was a Yngwie Malmsteen head,
Malmsteen.
I was too for a while.
and he
Yeah, you
was
were.
he was a great guitar player. This
See
kid
my
John
guitar-
that
see
Lou
my-
and I used to work with, little
Yeah.
Got an Ingve
scrawny
jacket.
little guy, but a guitar, long hair, and always got picked on for having really long hair. I
You
mean,
had to be
know,
if you were a
feeling.
metal guitar player. It was the
Yeah.
80s, man.
And I told him, he goes, I'm going to meet you. I said, your heroes are bastards, man. And
Yes.
he met Yngwie. He goes, the guy's the biggest asshole you can imagine. I said, I told you, John,
You know who the biggest asshole I ever met was?
Who?
Ace Frehley. But I don't blame him. He was doing autographs at one of those conventions where they sell guitars, like the guitar conventions, and he was like, yeah. I said something like, Ace. I was 18 years old. I said, Ace, really honored to me. Yeah. Just go. I realized at that time he was so high on everything. He was taking every drug.
I wouldn't look too deeply into that, man.
And I noticed his skin had like pockmarked because he was doing a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
So
why don't we go into some random subjects? Mark, have you got any random topics that you want to get into?
You guys remember that? This is a movie random. In the
This is a movie.
one of my favorite movies, and it had the great Patrick Swayze. But I always liked Roadhouse. I love that movie because it's good, well
I
made.
gotta tell you, when that's on, if I have time, I'll watch it. Plus Sam Neill. No,
Sam, Jesus,
the mustache guy.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. Yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
good horse sense.
It was a well-cast movie, fun little ditty. If anyone's ever seen it, it's not serious at all.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie.
And of course, the
isn't Ben
bully
Gazzara in it?
gets it at the end too.
Yeah.
Which is standard.
And that was the
move,
great
yeah.
Ben Gazzara as
Ben
the
Gazzara.
guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Death of a Chinese bookie.
And it was a De Laurentiis production, which always kind of adds to the schlock,
No,
but
that
it
was a good movie, and it had the who's the blind guitar player?
Jeff Healey.
Jeff Healey was
The late Jeff
Angel
Healey.
Eyes.
the late Jeff Healey.
died?
Yeah.
Yeah, he died. Yeah.
Ah.
That's the reason a bunch of us, me and my friend Chris, we went to see it because we were big Jeff Healey fans. So we said, we got to go see it. But anyway.
The worst casting was the one who was who played the doctor. She's like the biggest bimbo on the planet,
have
and
to do
I'm
that,
supposed to
though.
believe that she's a doctor.
Yeah, you got to do that for the sex scene because it's Patrick Swayze. You got to do it. It was just but again, a De Laurentiis movie. That's why.
Yeah, and the guy.
Mark, what year did this come out? Was it 87?
I think it was the late '80s. Yeah.
I think I might have still been in high school. I think I went with my high school friends to see it. I think it might have been the same year as Rattle and Hum.
Okay. The De Laurentiis people made a ton of movies of that period.
Yeah.
They were behind every action movie. It seems like.
Yeah.
They were behind Rambo, if I think remembering right.
King Kong.
Yeah.
I thought, RoboCop. It's like they should have a thing where they build him back together, and he's a country singer. And he's Dobrocop. He looks
Okay.
AKA Chris Gaines.
You have 3 seconds to play your lick.
Yeah, but Roadhouse, I've seen that movie many times.
So
Mark, it doesn't matter whether you were in high school or when you watch it. I mean, it's on cable. It's on.
No, but it's fond memories. We lived, growing up in Hillsdale, the theater that we could walk to was Westwood. So I remember walking there to see the movie.
The Pascack Theater.
Roadhouse.
Still there, by the way.
Westwood, New
Swayze was a
Jersey.
big star, man.
We have to
Patrick
reference
Swayze
where
was
we're
a
from.
big star. Did you ever see the one where he was a truck driver? Black Dog, I think it was called. Yeah,
that was a good movie too.
had
De
Meatloaf
Laurentiis
in it,
movie,
right?
Yeah.
And Country
Meatloaf.
Singers had Randy Travis in it too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
That was a very
Yeah.
good movie.
Huh.
Yep.
But what happens in Hollywood, this was bound to happen. They're going to remake it. And I just found out today. Now, I knew that the main character is going to be played by Jake Gyllenhaal, which could be good. Or
Jake
could be...
Jamila.
Yeah. And they're changing the story. He's a former UFC fighter. And
You mean they're really remaking it? I thought you were joking.
Yeah. No, Jake. But the guy that he's going to have a massive fight with, like the bad guy in the bar, it's going to be, I don't know if you know him, if you're a UFC guy, but Conor McGregor is going to be in it. This movie's going to make money. It's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Sure.
I have high hopes because I want to see how they handle the music side of it. Is it going to be stupid? I don't know. But
is Ben Gazzara still alive?
No.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Oh, here's the funny thing about it.
Didn't Ben Gazzara and Patrick Swayze fight in the original one?
Yeah, at the
They
end.
had to duke him out.
So I think that Connor may be the Ben Gazzara role because they're going to have a big fight. But here's the deal. It's going straight to Amazon's Prime Video, so I'll be able to watch it. So it must not be that good.
Right.
Or they're just figuring to make money. But I will watch it, and I'll give my opinion when it comes out.
Cool.
But, can't wait. Can't wait. I like Jake. He's good. Spacey, the way
He's
he
good.
acts.
Yeah.
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 You see Donnie Darko?
No, that's one
No, I
movie
didn't
I've never
see that.
seen.
I saw it listed, but I just didn't. I was busy watching Trailer Park Boys.
Anyway, it's weird.
Bubbles.
It's an odd one. You have to see it twice. Yeah.
I saw a film the other day of Creedence Clearwater Revival playing at Royal Albert Hall, 1970.
Oh, I've seen that.
Royal Albert Hall?
Yeah, Royal Albert Hall.
Royal Albert Hall.
Royal Albert.
Right, Raggy.
And
Raggy.
people were walking out apparently.
Really?
Well, not everyone, but some people walked out because I think the day before or the day that they were supposed to play, the Beatles broke up. And that was like the big news in the UK, and everybody was bummed out. And So it's like
in America too.
Yeah. But, it hit the UK papers first. And, boy, that string of bad luck. I mean, they're at Woodstock in 69. They're supposed to come on like 6 o'clock p.m. They come on at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Streak of bad luck with this band. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
we're going to play Royal Albert Hall. The Beatles break up that day.
Nobody comes. Show canceled.
There's something, Perry. There's something in that video I noticed. I watched it.
Yeah.
It's English crowds are quiet. They don't make noise.
They are.
So
They're very subdued. Yeah.
He's counting off one of the songs, and he's stamping his foot on the stage to count the song off, and you can hear the wood of the stage. Don't.
And there's something amazing about John Fogerty. Like, all right, so he wrote the songs, and he wrote the songs, but he's the lead guitar player. He's the lead singer and the lead guitar player.
Yep.
I mean, it's amazing
Did it all.
way he. Yeah.
At that point, did Creedence have like a following in England, or was this? I guess Royal Albert Hall.
They had a #1 hit there too. They had never had one in this country, but Proud Mary may have hit #1 over there or something.
I don't think a lot of English people have like a real love of like real American rock and roll. Sometimes, I mean, like the old days they did, like back in the Beatles age. But like when I went to England in 1990, and I was talking. Some English dudes about American bands, and they're like, they're very American, even though they were kind of cool alternative bands.
And look at that time. So at that year, the Beatles just broken up, but you still had people like the Stones Image, what was big. And they were different. They wore plaid shirts. They were totally different. And 3-minute songs, except for Heard It Through the Grapevine. Yeah. And, they were
from the Bay Area, so... But you think about it, like he's the original grunge look, John Fogerty.
Yeah,
that was that was just him.
Really,
right?
Jeans, boots.
Back then, it was almost like Farmer back then. Do you guys remember? Well, Mark, you may not, because being the youth that you are.
I'm quite a youth.
The flannel shirt thing of the 70s. I had. I had
them. I used to wear a thermal undershirt underneath
it. Yeah, man.
I looked cool too. I thought.
Yeah, it was.
I was wearing flannel shirts in the 70s. It was the style, and I wore them to my school. You all know what school I went to. Yep, the perfect sound for the school. But I remember wearing flannel. In the 80s, it made a comeback in high school. I remember wearing flannel.
The whole grunge thing. Yeah.
I still have flannel shirts. They're cool on a fall day. We working outside.
Now with the hipsters, it's the black and red.
Yes,
kind of that's the flannel shirt of the hipster. It's like a vegan lumberjack thing.
Well,
gonna cut down some eggs.
Yes, apparently.
Oh, that didn't work.
I don't know if you guys are going to mention. I figured one of you guys probably were later on, but I'll beat you to the punch. The singer Melanie Safka passed away.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
And I only liked one song from her. It was the one they did with the Edwin Hawkins Singers. Lay down, candles in the rain.
Winds of something.
Candles in the rain. Lay
candles
down.
In the rain, yeah.
Lay down, lay down.
Yeah.
I always, when I heard that on the radio, it always just grabbed me, I didn't like the roller skate song or,
Brand New Key, yeah.
Yeah, she had some novelty songs, but I don't know, man.
I discovered her when I was a kid. Going to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
70s classic.
Like that. Love that song.
Yeah.
She had a good voice. She had a really good voice.
Yes, she did.
She put out an album out in the early 70s. It was in my sister's collection. I played it. It was the first time I heard the song Lay Lady Lay. She covered it on that album. I think it was called In the City. It's a picture of her in a field in front of a city.
Well, that choir that... Oh, go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
No, it's just like... And then I said, wow, that's a good song. And then I heard the Dylan version. I was like, oh, boy. Okay.
Well, yeah.
But I never liked her voice. I wasn't crazy about her voice.
I liked her voice, yeah. She
I did.
Yeah.
She was... do you have any other background on her, Perry?
No, I know, Ukrainian heritage and whatever.
Ukrainian and Italian.
Yeah.
But she was born in Astoria. She was raised in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Where I was born, yeah. So this is funny. One day in like 70 or 71, on my Facebook page, when she died, I put a little tribute to her. Because in like 70, 71, my dad came home. He was in a furniture store. He goes, I struck up a conversation with some young lady named, she's a folk singer named Melanie.
Oh yeah, you said this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he didn't know who she was, but like, and then, he didn't know she was at Woodstock or anything like that. But then when the Brand New Key came out, because we had a roller skating rink, he was like, "That's the girl I met at the." He's probably hit her.
Lou, my story related to that was when my dad got the teller job at the Fleece. I call it Fleece, of the Fleet Bank in Woodstock.
Fleece Bank.
He would call me up every so often about, do you know? And he called me, do you know who a Levon Helm is? And I go, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, nicest guy. He is so nice. You know, see, he would, a couple of them, I was like, you met Levon. Wow.
Yeah.
So, Robbie Robertson got his first Oscar nomination for Flowers of the Killer Moon, posthumously, unfortunately.
I'm gonna watch it this weekend because it's on Apple TV, which I have a free promo of it.
I need 3.5 hours to sit down and watch this movie.
Well, my sister did say it's the fastest 3.5 hours. She said that it went by. It's a really good movie. It was like highly advised. So.
Yeah, but apparently the music is fantastic.
That's and that's what we're gonna watch with it. Like we're gonna be like the music, and everyone else is like, "What about the story?"
Yeah.
Well, the music comes first to us.
So. I think that the fact that Robbie's last solo record, which is only a few years ago, is really, really good. I'm sure that the music is just fantastic.
Yeah. But his first Oscar nomination. Yeah. And I'm sure if he gets it, hopefully Marty goes up to accept it for him, or, you know.
Yeah.
Mark Knopfler's guitar collection is being auctioned off at Christie's.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Are there not any hillbillies not selling any records anymore?
No, he's got a new album out. In fact, it's got a brand new record out. Mark Knopfler.
Sometimes these guys get to a point and they go, "I got too many guitars." Didn't Rick Nielsen shed a lot of his guitars not long ago?
No, he's still got a warehouse full of them.
Oh, okay. He's like Jay Leno with cars. Yeah.
I wonder how many 5-necked guitars he has.
He's probably got a bunch of hammer guitars or hammer guitars.
I want to hear him hammer.
Yeah, but Mark Knopfler's auctioning off. I don't know if it's for charity or for him. I have no idea. But it's at Christie's, and I don't know if it's like his main. He's got a lot of guitar, a lot of them.
He's got
He's
got custom guitars. But I was like, when I was a kid, I was surprised to read and kind of humbled that he a lot of his Strats are just right off the line too. Like he didn't need it to be customized, which I like. I have a Strat right off the production. I don't have a Strat that was customized or anything.
How many guitars has he been given?
a
Fender.
lot of these
He's a
people
Fender guy
like,
early on. The Sultan's, Sultan's a swing. That's a Stratocaster,
right? Or like the Les Paul that he played on. I Want My MTV. What is that song called?
Money for Nothing.
Money for Nothing. I don't know if that's all being auctioned off. I don't know.
What's that? Hawaiian Noises.
And
We
you know
won't
who
say
Chaz
the other
Chandler
lyric.
is?
Yeah, bass player for the Animals.
Chaz Chandler was
Discovered.
Jimi Hendrix's co-manager also.
Yeah.
And apparently Jimmy could not decide on the drummer when he was starting his band. It was Mitch Mitchell and Ainsley Dunbar.
Ainsley Dunbar.
They flipped the coin, and Mitch Mitchell got it. Yeah, he loved them both so much, Jimmy, that they just had to flip a coin, and that's how Mitch Mitchell got the gig.
I'm thinking, given the fluidity of Jimmy's music, Ainsley Dunbar, to me, he's a great drummer. He's very regimented. And anything I've ever heard him on, Jane by Starship. Jane. Yeah. He's playing to the music, obviously, but Mitch Mitchell was like a jazz drummer.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's stuff I've never heard of Ainsley Dunbar. Although I've heard a lot of his stuff.
I'd volunteer to say I think Mitchell was the better fit. I don't think. You're right. So, Ainsley wouldn't have done what Mitchell was on fire the whole time.
It's interesting because
Jim Keltner, man.
Jim Keltner always says, like, he even mentioned Mitchell. He goes, "These are jazz." He says they're jazz.
Yeah.
A lot of these drummers are jazz drummers.
Yeah.
Ginger.
And Jim Keltner said this as well in 1980 after John Lennon. John Lennon used to have sent letters, mimeograph. Remember the old mimeograph, like from school?
I can smell it now.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that smell.
Yep.
Ooh, that smell.
So in 1980, after
it's
he
the morning
recorded Double
announcements.
Fantasy, John Lennon sent a letter to Jim Keltner, Klaus Vormann, and Jesse Ed Davis and said, "We're going to get back together." He wanted to get that rock and roll band back together.
Wow.
Yeah.
He should have done Double Fantasy with them.
And Jim Keltner said John Lennon would be around. He'd be jamming. He'd be all over the place had he lived.
Yeah.
It was in his blood. Always was. he did what he had to do, and he was ready to come back. George Martin said, Double Fantasy. He said it's not vintage Lennon because you can tell he hadn't been in the studios in a long time. But
it's a good pop album.
But
Very good pop album.
Absolutely.
And that's it. That was the one. If there's one thing that bothered me with Lennon with the solo stuff was, he got too unpop at times. And I think some of his music suffered for it. So he finally just put out a regular pop album, which was kind of refreshing. Had some great songs on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Jack Douglas as the producer, I don't know, man.
Doesn't work for you?
Doesn't work for me, no.
I think Double Fantasy was too slick in a lot of ways.
It was very slick.
Yeah. One of the guitar players named Slick on it.
There's Earl Slick, yeah. And was it Hugh McCracken?
Yeah.
Cracking.
I know John Lennon loved Jesse Ed Davis, would work with Jesse Ed Davis anytime.
He was dead by that point.
No, Jesse Ed Davis didn't live. Jesse Ed Davis lived until like the 80s.
Well, okay, so Double Fantasy was nice. Okay. I think Hugh McCracken is a guitar player on.
Yeah, I don't think he's on. Jesse Ed's on Double Fantasy.
No,
he's
not.
McCracken played with the Wings, didn't he?
No, that was Henry McCulloch.
Oh,
and there was Jimmy McCulloch.
Split McCulloch.
Wait, Split McCulloch, the hockey player?
Yes.
No, Split McCulloch, the Boilermaker.
Shecky's, ladies and gentlemen.
Why don't we?
It's always Shecky's place, Mark.
How about? But that, yeah, Melanie. I always like that. So what was her other song? She had the roller skate novelty song.
Look
she had
what
laid
they've
down
done to my song, Ma.
That's
Look
it.
what they've done to my song.
I heard that today on the radio in the car. Look,
I like that one too.
And then she speaks French. That's
right. Yeah.
Did you know?
Just like ELO in Rock and Roll is King.
Really?
You were singing the same melody. Lama, rock and roll.
Did you know?
What didn't know, Mark? What is it?
Did you know? And this is a dick move. Melanie was prohibited from attending her graduation ceremony because she had an overdue library book. What the hell?
Yeah.
Sounds like my high school, Pascack Valley.
Yeah, she went to Red Bank High.
Yeah.
Red Bank, New Jersey, home account.
I forgot. She's beautiful. Really is. I'm looking at pictures of her.
So now, when she had 3 children, but she said at the time, last interview, she was a diehard libertarian.
Yeah, there's a version out there of her singing.
That's a pot-smoking Republican, isn't it?
There's a version of her singing Candles in the Rain with her daughters.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
It's out there somewhere. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah. I like the fact. I like the fact. Look at the old New Jersey connections, like Park Ridge with the Roaches.
Yeah.
There's.
I used to smoke Roaches.
I think the best of the whole bunch is Bon Jovi.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, please.
Come on.
There's not a more grating voice. I mean, I will say that Bon Jovi's voice is more grating than Frankie Valli's.
I agree with you.
Seriously.
I'm sorry, Lou. I had to do that.
His voice isn't great. You just wait. I bet this is a bullshit thing. You just don't get it, Perry.
I don't get it. I get Tom Waits. You don't get Tom Waits, so that's
because that voice is a fake. That voice is a fake. When Tom Waits is by himself, he's going lay across my big breast. When he's on stage, he's going.
Well, since he quit smoking, maybe his voice will change.
Yeah. That's what Dylan said when we did Nashville Skyline. He goes, "Quit smoking those cigarettes, your voice will sound like Caruso."
Yeah. But Bob Dylan smoked till he was 80, I think. Like
he started up again.
He smoked till he was 77. I think.
Really.
Yeah.
Dylan's like,
and then if you're from New Jersey, this is how you talk if you smoke.
No. That's wrong. That's like.
Come on, Perry. How many times in the laundromat did we hear, that's my washer, number 3. I've always used that for 40 years.
Yeah. That's when you used to be able to smoke in a laundromat or in a bar.
Don't even think of touching dryer number 15. That's my dryer.
Smoking on a fucking airplane.
Atlantic City. Remember the good old days? I could smoke in the diner.
That's right. I still seen a few people smoking pumping gas here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I passed
Really?
by that part. Oh yeah.
That's a death wish, man.
What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst?
What's the worst?
Horrible.
Because the fumes ignite, not the liquid.
At those times in my mind, I wish there was some like vigilante and I could just like drive by and throw like a lit with a Zippo lighter out there and just
like
blow
your own
them up.
personal star chamber. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
I'm on
filling
board.
up.
I'm on board with you, Perry.
Yeah.
I was filling up gas in my hometown here, and it's New York is still you fill your own gas. And I saw a guy, you know, when they talk and the cigarette goes up and down as they're talking. I remember I'm watching. He's filling a landscaping truck. He's like, yeah, so I gotta go out. I'm like, can we get out of here, please? Oh God.
What are you, a Buddhist monk? Come on.
So, Lou, you had mentioned that you had a
Time
list.
Life magazine.
Oh no, come on, man! With the self-immolating, no.
Oh,
They had principles. Yeah, keep it going. Keep it going.
here's my sound effect. When you say things like that, I go ding 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 ding.
I think we should
Show's
lighten
going
it
off
up
the
a little.
rails.
We should
What's
lighten
that?
it up a little bit and talk about like some worst songs. Like you have a list of like who decides what these
I have a
worst songs
laundry
are, Lou? Where'd you get this info?
These are mine.
This is your own. This is your own selection of worst songs.
No, I forgot the website. It's from a magazine, actually. And this is one of the few times when I've gone on there, and it's just flashed up on my monitor. When I've gone on,
Yeah.
and I realized that this is pretty legit. They weren't meant to trash anything. All these things are legitimately.
Yeah.
And I think the Supreme Court would rule unanimously, almost unanimously, that these are truly awful songs in the rock and roll genre. And
Okay,
I'm gonna
cool.
start rattling them off. And so we touched upon this a few
So we
months
could
ago.
agree or disagree, right?
Well, yeah, of course, I'm going to ask you guys if you agree. Now, some of these things we can't play because there were things we've never heard of. There's some songs I never heard of. But
Yeah.
when I listened to them, I did a lot of YouTube videos, and besides laughing my ass off a whole lot, these things are just genuinely, they're all awful. Every single one is really bad. Okay. Now, there's one, I'll just describe it. It was one of the earliest ones. These are from the 50s and 60s at this point.
Yeah.
This is from 1953. It was the artist so-called Harry Carey and his 6 sake sippers. Sake is a Japanese rice brew. The song called "Yes Sir, That's My Baby." It's a total white guy doing a Japanese parody with the glasses, the slanty eyes, and like fake buck teeth and all that
Oh
stuff.
my God.
When
And
was this? 50s, 60s?
This was 1953.
Wow.
And it got charted, that kind of thing, but it was something like people read about it and said this is one of the worst things ever. It's a stupid song, but you would have to see it to believe it, and hopefully we can maybe insert some of these things when by the time other people see this. Or
You
other
said
reruns.
1963, right?
1953.
Oh, 1953.
Yeah, it's Harry Carey, HARIKARI, but I will email them to you.
Not that baseball broadcaster, right? Or is it?
Hey,
Harry.
hey. No, it's not that guy. So the other song was called I'm going to have to.
Oh, excuse me. I get the connection. Harry Carey and it's a Japanese thing. Okay. Yeah.
Well, Harry Carey, like it was split your guts open.
That's even
with
more
a sword.
insulting.
Yeah.
Exactly, because he's doing it without honor.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's a Japanese thing, but he's trying to be a Chinese guy, which is even like he's just lumping everybody in.
Well, no,
Yeah.
Well, he looks like a cartoon of a Japanese fighter pilot from like World War II, and just like in real life, this whole thing.
Kind of like what was that movie
It's like
with
is that a dinosaur or what's going on here?
that movie The Apartment? No, not The Apartment. Breakfast at Tiffany's. What's his name? Played the landlord, and he was supposed to be Chinese. I forgot the actor's name.
I don't
and he
know.
regretted
Tony
it for the rest
Randall.
of his life. No,
Well, also Marlon Brando in Tea House of the August Moon. He did it the
I
whole
never
movie.
saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Glenn
But
Ford, I think that's
it
an
was
Oscar winner.
acceptable back then. Yeah.
We saw it
Yeah,
tonight
yeah.
in the intro. We saw it in the intro tonight. Jack Palance.
Jack, exactly,
Jack
which
Palance,
was great.
yeah.
Perry, that was great, by the way.
That brought back memories. That commercial.
Now,
Music Relish,
Aldo
yeah.
Ray, what's that?
Aldo Ray and Broderick Crawford.
Broderick Crawford, Highway
Yeah.
Patrol. But most people don't know who Aldo Ray was. He was in the TV show. I think it was Combat.
See, I didn't know any of this stuff. I didn't know.
Broderick Crawford. That's Matthew. Matthew Broderick. No, it's not.
No. That's James Broderick.
Wait, Broderick Crawford is related to some latter day.
Joan,
like,
Cindy
Joan
Crawford.
Crawford.
yeah, okay.
Any relation to Joan Crawford?
Whatever. Let's
Yeah.
move on.
Mommy
Okay.
That's
dearest.
as a common name as Smith. You know?
Okay. Anyway, so
But
Harry
Hollywood.
and his 6 sake sippers did a very racist Japanese
do you have a
parody song.
sample of it, or?
No. Well, actually, if you want to hear one, I could do it.
Well, pick one. Yeah.
Okay.
So while Lou is looking for the sample, I'm
Yeah.
going to talk about opera. No, not.
It should be here.
Horror movie.
Harry
Bollywood. Old zombie movie.
Carey. Yes, sir. That's my baby.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's my
That's my
baby.
baby.
He's going to get
I'm
baseball.
going to try to hold this picture up. I tried it before.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
that's the one I saw
Yeah.
before. It looked like Elvis Costello with a Hitler mustache.
Wait. Yeah. It's hard to tell because of the lighting here. Let's give this little gem a spin. We're ready. 4, 3, 2, 1. Skip
Whammo. Whammo. Oh, boy. So it's a novelty song. Yeah.
It's pretty damn.
Yeah.
He's hateful, though, for having that name.
Oh yeah, it's a whole. I mean, in his 6 sake sippers now.
Yeah.
Being in the alcohol business like I am, sake, that was a little ahead of its time, because sake is a big thing now. Okay.
No.
Yeah, but that was all. You said it was 1953. It was also the
Yeah.
era of Tea House of the August Moon and Jack Palance looking like Genghis Khan, or is it Genghis Khan,
I don't know.
or is it just Khan? Okay, so the second song, I'm going to pronounce it. It goes like this: Yawa ekat at gnimak yet.
What
Which-
the hell is that?
Which is backwards. They're coming to take me away.
Oh, the
oh.
B-side.
That's
It was
the
the
flip
it was the
side
B-
of the single. Yeah,
It's the flip side of the single. Yeah.
Yeah. I
From
think we may have
Napoleon
played it on our 45 RPM show or something.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
It's from Napoleon the 14th from 1966.
Yeah. Yep.
Now number 3 is from legendary Stardust Cowboy. It's a song called "Paralyzed" from 1968. T-Bone. It's known for T-Bone Burnett playing drums. It was called the worst song ever released on a major label. It's just total cacophony, screaming, and there's a bugle solo that just comes out of nowhere for like no really
T-Bone
good reason.
Burnett on
Let's-
Yeah.
drums.
You
Legendary
may
stuff.
have played this one time on your novelty
Yes.
segment. Your
Yeah,
novelty
it
song
was, it was a
segment.
novelty one. Yes.
Yeah.
T-Bone was playing that long ago. Wow.
Yep.
I remember
Let's
you
see.
mentioned T-Bone Burnett played drums on something when you were doing novelty songs.
Yes. Here we go. Here's a legendary Stardust Cowboy. No, you can't see him. Talk amongst yourselves. There's a Chick-fil-A commercial.
Talk amongst yourself.
It's Sunday. They're not open.
There you
Can't be
go.
playing commercials when you're not open. Come on.
Here we go. Oh, come on.
I was going to say, Lou's.
Yeah, yeah.
What? Holy shite.
Toga party.
Is that MC5?
Might as well be. That is a legendary T-Bone Burnett playing drums.
Well,
Yeah, he really cuts
goddamn.
loose, and toward the end of the song, he really starts playing some.
Well, maybe that was
Wacky
before he
fills.
became legendary.
Everyone has to start somewhere, right?
There's nothing legendary about this one. Yeah, so that was in 1968, but Rhino Records re-released that. Rhino Records wasn't around in '68, I don't believe. But anyway, whatever label that was on, and whoever the legendary Stardust Cowboy was, that was on a major label, and that they released that. I think it was a single. It's like,
Wow.
yeah, cool.
That sounds like a regional song. I don't think it went nationwide, right?
No, whatever region you're from. So another song. This is number 4. I just compiled this. This is not their 4th. This is my 4th. A lot of people thought MacArthur Park, the 1966 Richard Harris version, is a terrible song. I disagree. And a lot of people didn't get the lyrics. This is nothing to really to dwell on here. They said people didn't get that. Who left the cake out in the rain? It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor for a
Jimmy
relationship.
Webb song. Yeah.
It's of course, and it's just it's However, Donna Summer had a hit with it. Richard Harris's version, I think, is great, but that's something where I just think it's misunderstood. But now apparently Weird Al Yankovic did a parody, and it's called Jurassic Park is Melting. That's a true story.
He should have become an architect.
Yeah.
Come on, another one rides the bus was a classic song.
Yeah.
Another one rides the bus.
Okay,
and
so now we're
another
going
gets
from the
off, and
60s
another
to the
gets off.
70s. This one of the worst songs of all time, 1974, which was a banner year.
Yeah.
A banner year for a lot of shitty AM
Yeah.
pop songs. A lot of depressing stuff.
And good songs.
Yeah. And good rock and roll, too, of course. Paul Anka's You're Having My Baby. We discussed that. It's just total,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You are having my baby.
Keisha, thank you for impregnating her. Exactly.
But it's a schlocky song. It's like a corny
You're having
ballad
my
or whatever you
baby.
would call it,
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It was
It's
meant to be loving.
Yeah, but it sounds like it should have come out 10 years prior to that.
Yeah, well,
it's
also,
64.
it's a bare-chested version of it.
Yeah.
So the next song is a weird obscurity, and it is one of the most inane and stupid songs I've ever seen in my life. It's like a BBC production. It's a band called the Tweets. It's called the Birdie Song. It's from 1981.
Not the bird is the
Tweets,
word.
The Birdie Song. Now the video is like this weird kind of big Muppet animation, which seemed to be the thing to do there.
Yeah.
But it is totally
I think
stupid.
I remember this.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I'm here.
Yes,
I've heard
I
that.
remember this.
Yeah.
Have you? It's a variation of the chicken dance, but
Yeah.
it's got people in these like big costumes, like really getting into this. It's not doing it justice.
That's
so
called the
anyone-
Birdie song?
It's the Birdie Song, 1981. Mick Jones of the Clash said it's the worst song of all time. You'd have to see the video because some of these things accompany these weird BBC One TV series that were just aimed at strange children. He also said it's on a par with Billy Don't Be a Hero, the 1974 song from Perry. You know, who did-
Donaldson and the Haywoods.
No, it's Paper Lace.
No.
I thought so too. I looked up and didn't Bo Donaldson?
Wait. Hold on. Paper Lace did Daddy Was a Cop on the east side of Chicago.
Chicago died. Okay.
Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods did Billy. Maybe I'm
they
wrong.
did.
Mark looks like Mark is investigating right now.
okay,
Maybe we're
please.
wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
No. I think you're right because I looked it up. I questioned that when I looked it up. I went. Actually, I did another look after
Okay.
that.
All right. So I looked up the song Billy Don't Harry Carey. Now, Billy Don't Be a Hero. You're both right. It was a 74 pop song, was first a UK hit for Paper Lace, and then in the US it was a hit for Bo Donaldson and the Haywood. So you're both right.
See, I
Wow.
didn't know
No
that there was
shit.
a
I didn't
UK
either.
hit with Paper Lace.
That's pretty friggin' cool,
See?
man. Now we've talked about some of these songs in some of our other shows about horrible songs of '74. So interesting. So those bands are kind of weirdly intertwined. That's just weird.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
The
I like it.
the power of music.
Yeah.
You know, music.
Yeah.
It's the power of music. I didn't know this. I learned something today I didn't know yesterday.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You never, you know what? I can't stand people who think they know everything about music. You could be 60 years old, 70 years old. You'll hear something. You're like, I didn't know that. I've heard some stuff you guys talk. That's what this show's about, right? We sit and talk and we
exactly.
school
Yeah.
each other on stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. You know?
It's also therapy, so we don't go to the towers.
Yeah, I don't go. Wait a little while from now.
Hey, you guys
I'm out
know
of here,
right
man.
now.
Sorry, bro. That was my trigger point.
Hey, I need therapy right now. You know what? So yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Give me a place to live, please.
Terry Jacks
All right.
of the
Stop
Poppy
it.
family.
Mark, don't throw that out there.
What?
Mark is doing these self-fulfilling prophecy things about having to move.
Mark, you ain't going
got-
nowhere. And I may use slang. You ain't going nowhere.
Okay, boss.
You know?
I hope.
Ooh-wee, right behind.
Yeah.
Today's the day my bride's gonna come. Sit back in your easy chair, Mark.
You got any more worse songs, Lou?
I do. Now this one I totally agree because it's just bad. Ebony and Ivory, 1982, Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson.
I can't stand that
just
song.
real American cheese.
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
That's just,
Yes, it is.
That's just cheese.
Yeah.
That's cheese. Oh,
I
I get it. Wait, it's a black and white thing. Ebony and Ivory. Oh, okay.
It's the
I
keys
get
of
it,
the piano. You get that? There's a metaphor.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
On my piano, why do we
Piano.
Well, yeah.
Where he says,
And
my piano, my libido.
Who wrote
Say
that
Say
friggin'
Say
song?
was much better, in my
Paul.
opinion. Say
What was
Say
that?
Say.
Yeah.
That song was better.
Yeah.
You know, but
I describe this as crap,
Still crap.
creakle, dreck, mawkish, SHT.
yeah. Can I throw a worse song in there?
Ebony.
You're intruding on my subject,
Mark. That's adult contemporary
Yes, you-
schlock.
Yes, you can. Yeah, cock block. Yes, you
Throw
can.
it in, Mark.
Ebony. This goes along with the schlock because I think Lionel Richie did great work with the Commodores, but Dancing on the Ceiling.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is
Horrible. Just like it's the kind of
Let-
song that someone doesn't care about music may say, I like it. If you know anything about music, it's yeah.
Apparently, I don't know anything about you, Mark.
He's a mystery to you.
I'm also going to throw into that every Nickelback song. Do I have an agreement on that?
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. By the way. Okay. Oh, I got one here. Okay. Now, someone put on. There's on this list, and this is a pretty legit list. I disagree. Spandau Ballet's "True."
I like that song.
From 1980.
It's a prom song. Yeah, it's a prom.
Well, sure it is, but
yeah.
it's not. I don't think it's not badly written. It's a certain style, a certain genre.
Yeah.
But the quote was, "It's called dreadful wine bar soul."
Well,
At least they use the word soul in there.
Well, here I am with
if
the
you watch
wine
a lot
saying
of
that's not bad.
MTV,
Really,
you know, you're going to be
wizard.
like, I'm tired of that shit.
See,
With
there was
the
a lot of
thrill in
ballads.
my hand and
There
a
were
pill- and a
ballads in the
pill on my
80s and
tongue.
90s that I really liked.
Yeah.
It brings back memories, and that's one of them. I just remember hearing, ha, 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 ha. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever, Mark.
I can understand if someone hates it, though. You know,
Yeah, that was one that was played to death. Yeah.
I drink wine and I like soul, so there you go.
Okay, we are moving on. Okay, the next one is from a band called Black Lace from 1984. It's called Agadu. 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 So I'm going to get a little sample here. Black Lace, Agadu.
Is this in English?
Black Lace, Agadu. You're going to find out.
How's Google going to fuck that one up? Yabba dabba doo.
It's another weird animation thing from England. These
Okay.
talk amongst yourselves.
It's another
I
Chick-fil-A
gotta
ad.
go past.
I got
skip-
it. No, wait.
You got to skip the ad, right?
Oh, God.
I hate it. I hate it.
It's like a kid's song.
Yeah.
I get little
Don't
kids.
don't get us blocked. Yeah.
Yeah, all the Gaga do or whatever. The Flintstones people are going to get us.
Probably Saul Vance owns the rights to that.
It's almost like a Sid and Marty Krofft, whereas behind the two singers who look like variants of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, jeez.
There's these people like apple heads and like fruit heads. It's like this weird. But I watched the whole thing.
Is
and I'm
that
like,
English? Is that is that from Russia?
this-
Is that?
I think that might be American. Yeah, but they were described as magnificently dreadful. And I have a quote from online that I want to read from them. Okay, so I can find it here. Bear with me. Black Lace, the Birdie song. Here we go. This song was voted the worst song of all time by a panel of professional music writers and industry experts, published in a 2003 Q poll, which deemed it magnificently dreadful and reminiscent of the school disco you were forced to attend, your middle-aged relatives forming a conga at a wedding party, a traveling DJ based in Wolverhampton, every party cliche you ever heard. It was banned from being played on BBC One radio for a period because it was viewed as not a credible song.
But magnificently dreadful.
Magnificently dreadful.
There's a contradiction in terms right there.
Absolutely.
I say that about
I watched the
Hot
whole
Space.
damn thing.
I say
What's
that
that,
about
Mark?
Hot Space by Queen. The first side is magnificently dreadful because I like it, but it's horrible. I don't know.
Well, there you go. Okay, so the next one is by Phil Collins from 1985. It's Susudio.
Oh,
We know the song.
Yeah, don't play
I can't
Don't
stand
play
it.
it.
No, I'm not going to. I'm going to read some quotes though. It's insipid. That's
Yeah.
enough said right there.
I agree. Yep.
Indefensibly stupid.
I agree.
Susudio brings me out in a cold sweat. Could have been the theme song for the Third Reich. It was that insidious and evil.
Wow. But the beat on it is just so annoying, you know.
Well, it was compared to Prince's 1999, which is very valid.
Really? Wow.
Very valid. Yeah.
Think that
yeah.
which he was going for?
Probably. At that point, he was so ubiquitous, you know.
Yeah.
I take nothing against. He's an amazingly talented guy.
Well,
I love him as a drummer. I really do.
Yeah, it's nothing against him personally. That song sucks.
No,
it's just
no,
one of the worst. Yeah.
And the whole thing about the 80s was about money, success, the secret of my success.
he
You know,
was accused of
how come
plagiarism.
Dokken hasn't gone platinum yet? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was accused of plagiarism because it sounds
he?
a lot like 1999.
Yeah, it does. And,
Prince.
Told you
Now,
when
but
that,
not as good a song.
But in the video, there's Lee Sklar playing.
Lee
I told you
Sklar's
when
great.
the
He's
when
a
that
whore.
Coldplay guy inducted Peter Gabriel, he's like, "Well, Peter goes into the studio like it was
Yeah.
it was a direct jab at Phil Collins, you know."
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you think about it, you could write lyrics like that in your sleep. And this is not to be, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
He was on-
We're not rock stars or published artists or anything like that, but you know,
Yeah, when you hear that
there's a
stuff
girl
from
that's
Phil-
been on my mind all the time.
Yeah.
I probably wrote that when I was 14.
Yeah.
But I didn't put it to a
Wow.
snappy dance beat. That's
Yeah.
all it
He's a-
takes.
That
all
shows
the
how
time.
lucky he was because when he was on autopilot doing these songs,
Yeah.
he was making a ton of money.
Yes, he
Right,
was.
but it's
It
the
was
same.
80s,
It's
man.
like Peter Frampton, I'm in you. You know what I mean? He's just
You're
going.
in
He's
me.
just going, churning. You know, feeding. Yeah. Yep.
I
The
don't
other
care what
day,
I don't care what they say when we make love.
The other day,
I don't care
Look-
what they say
Wow.
when we make love. Like,
Wow.
who's watching you?
Way to go, Phil.
Close your blinds there, Peter. No, that was Peter Frampton from I'm and You.
Oh, Frampton. Yeah, well,
I don't care what they say when we
same
make love.
difference. Yeah.
Okay, how about this one? And I never liked this song, and I have a personal story that I have to attach to it that makes me even more irritated. It is Bobby McFerrin's 1988 hit "Don't Worry, Be Happy."
mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
obviously bombily inoffensive, but yeah.
Yeah.
I
Some
had someone.
people-
I had someone call me and ask me to sing this to them to calm them
no,
down. I'm like,
no instruments, right? Just his
wasn't me.
voice.
It's-
Yeah.
It's all
wasn't me.
vocal. It wasn't you, Mark.
Yeah.
It's all instruments, but I don't know. Just
It was used by a lot of people.
Yeah.
to-
was
you
that
know, people that
Roadhouse?
get negative, and then they use it. Like people say, "Oh, this song makes me happy." Good for them. I
Yeah.
just can't stand hearing it.
Right.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
pessimists hate that song.
And you're drinking your wine while saying that, and that's a Greg Lake lyric. The pessimist laughed and drank his wine.
The Neelitz too.
Yeah. Yeah. That song's annoying.
No, what movie was it? That was in a movie. Wasn't that in
don't
Roadhouse or like? Was it one of those movies? It was filmed in Nashville.
Hellraiser. Jesus wept.
It was in Hellboy. It was a movie. Yeah.
Don't worry,
Hellboy. That was a creepy movie
Be happy.
with Lance Henriksen.
Bishop. Remember Bishop?
Yeah.
That's an
Oh my
annoying
God,
song.
man! No. Ah!
Put her in charge, man.
Game over, man. Game over.
I
Bill
watched that-
Cosby probably liked that song. Don't worry, be happy.
He probably had something to do with it.
Yeah.
I slipped a pill
He's a
in her
big
drink.
jazz producer, and he was involved with Blue Note, so he might have had some involvement in that.
I'm saving the best for last on this.
Can I say one more thing about Phil Collins though?
Yeah.
I just was scrolling about Susudio. David Letterman famously told Phil Collins that is a dumb name for a song. Can't you just hear David Letterman saying that? That's
Yeah.
a really dumb name.
Well,
for a
I used to
song.
think of those hair gel products. Studio line.
Yeah.
Studio Mega
Like
Gel.
a commercial from
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. We need to move along because
Yeah.
we've got like another 15 minutes and then we have to leave. No. Okay. Number 9, Vanilla Ice, 1990, Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah. Another dumb
All right,
song.
the funny quote though. Spinner editors ranked this the second worst track in history,
Yeah.
while Blender staff placed it 5th, and a Houston Press critic named it as the worst song ever by an artist from Texas. That's a
Yeah.
distinction,
He's from Dallas, I think. Yeah.
right? And claimed that it set back the cause of white people in hip hop hip hop by a decade.
Yeah.
Sure. He was like the watering down of that. There was some good collaborations,
Yeah.
and he comes out with that bullshit. It's just
Right.
like,
Yeah.
the one that did Wamba Damba Damba Dee Dam Da, the guy with the
Just
greasy hair.
commercial stuff, except
one.
yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's move along. 1992, Billy Cyrus, "Achy Breaky Heart." That's a thing.
Yeah, that's
like
a
an
cover,
old
by
song.
the way. He didn't write that song.
Yeah, that's
He
a
didn't-
cover?
yeah, that's a
Yes.
cover. Yeah.
And the original is good. The original version is good.
The original,
Is it really?
yeah. That's
Is it
Billy
really?
Cyrus is an idiot.
I want
So is
to
his
hear the
daughter.
original.
You know,
Miley Cyrus.
I have more respect for Miley. I have more respect for her than Billy Ray.
Smokes weed.
although Billy Cyrus is in one of my favorite movies called Bait Shop. With I like this movie. It's one of those.
I bet you do.
One
Is
of
this
those.
like Joe Dirt.
No. He's what's this
Like
comedy
this-
tour
like
they had? This
Fish
blue collar comedy tour.
Yeah.
It had Bill. His name is Bill Engvall. He made a movie called Bait Shop, and I like it. It's just a silly movie.
Just
yeah.
a silly, yeah.
And
Okay.
but Billy Ray
Sounds
Billy
down home.
Beefcake is in the movie. Yeah.
At least he can make fun of himself.
Bunky heart. Okay, let's move along here. I think this is a unanimous decision worldwide at this point. The year was 1993. The band was called Four Non Blondes. The song "What's Up."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
I
Dean-
saw them open for
Yeah.
Aerosmith, and they were. It was the worst 45 minutes. I'll never get that time back in my
Yeah.
life. I
Yeah, I'm
didn't
sorry.
like them. I'm sorry
Yeah,
to say.
that song is so fucking annoying. I don't know. I mean, hi. Is Lori Perry in that?
Gonna kick your ass, pal.
Yeah.
One more hour till she kicks
She
your
was
ass.
in one of those bands. She was in like L7 or Four Non Blondes.
Was
I don't know.
it Linda Perry? Yeah.
Linda
Yeah, I
Perry,
think the
yeah.
singer was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And yes, but that was a
that
big.
is an annoying song.
that was a
That'll
big
go
Lilith-
down in history.
It was a Lilith Fair anthem though in the early '90s
Oh, really?
until everyone started hating. Dean Ween of the band Ween said it's as bad as music gets.
Yeah.
Now I have issue with Ween. They had a song. They have a song called Pork Roll, Egg and Cheese, and it's Taylor Ham.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate those titles. That's
Okay.
like frat
Yeah.
rock. You know.
Well, because it's Taylor Ham, egg and cheese. Yeah.
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 I'm gonna skip Mr. Blobby because it's
hell's
another one of those
Mr.
English
Blobby?
BBC things where it's just like these little animation things, just total mind jello.
Yeah.
Now there's a band called Aqua from 1997. They had a song called Barbie Girl. Do you remember that song?
no.
Yeah, I remember hearing it once. and
I'm a
saying,
Barbie
like,
girl in
Yeah.
my Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
The video
my
is
Barbie
eerie.
world.
Yeah. The video is unsettling.
Yeah.
I said it's disturbing. There's something weird about the visual of it. It's her and two guys in a band, and she's not even
Yeah.
blonde for one thing. It
Oh,
was
by the
number one-
way,
Yeah.
sorry, Lou. Speaking
Yeah.
of Barbie, I saw like 2 minutes of this Barbie movie. I
Yeah.
cannot believe that people went to see this movie.
It's been nominated for
And it's
Oscars.
like- It's a not,
I haven't seen
yeah,
it.
but because she wasn't nominated as like best actor or best female actor or best actress, whatever they want to call it, they're like, well, they want to sue the Academy. Like, we have lost our fucking minds, you know. Like,
you can't sue the
I know-
Academy.
you know,
I know people that love the movie, and they told me why, and I get it. It's just probably not for us. You know, it's like not something we'd want to see. But
I
yeah,
don't feel patriarchal.
I'm a guy.
I'm a
what
nice
would
guy.
what would I want to do with that movie? What would I, you know?
as far as that year is concerned, I'm an Oppenheimer guy. I just saw it last night, so that's my movie.
I like Planet of the Apes.
But that song, I do
You know where
remember.
you
I'm
stand.
a Barbie girl in my Barbie world, or whatever it was. Right?
It's totally insipid. It's just at
Yeah.
that point, like your brains are coming at your
Yeah.
ears in
But
like
it had
liquid
like
form.
a club beat, so therefore,
Yeah,
it was probably a
dancing.
club hit, right?
But also,
Yeah.
it had bright colors.
Yeah.
There's a dude in the band that just gives me the friggin' creeps. It's just weird, but it's very, very wild. The 80s were a strange decade.
Yeah,
No,
they
the
were.
90s. That was 97. actually.
90s were fucked up.
90s.
Wow.
So this was number one in Rolling Stone's worst songs of the 90s. This was
Good.
considered the
Oh,
worst
I
song.
agree. Finally, I agree with
I even-
something
I even
from
wrote it as a
Rolling
br-
Stone, Mark.
Brain leaking. All right. There's another one. Limp Bizkit, 1999. A song called Nookie.
I like that song, and I hate Limp Bizkit, but that song was good. There's
Did you
something
really?
about it. Do it
Did
all
you
for
see
the
did you see
nookie.
the video?
Yeah.
He's attracting all these women. It's just him.
I know.
At the end, anyway,
Fred
so
Is he
Durst.
Fred Durst?
Yeah, he's an
Buzz-
asshole.
Yeah, he's an asshole. BuzzFeed, their quote was, "It should be illegal to be Fred Durst."
He's done that. He's a whole ass. Yeah.
He's a whole
That
ass.
disaster
Better be an
known as-
asshole than the whole ass.
That disaster known as Woodstock in Rome, New York, the third one. he's the one that was on
He
stage
started
saying,
a
break
riot,
everything,
right? Yeah,
break
yeah.
stuff, fuck stuff up. Like, why are you doing that?
Oh,
dude?
yeah.
Stop. You know, like Axel. He's just like
Oh
Axel.
boy.
Okay, I got a couple more. One is
He can go suck a lemon.
suck a lemon, go suck an egg. It's a band called New Song from 2000. Yeah, from 2000. Band called New Song. It was called The Christmas Shoes. We might have talked about that on Scott's Christmas show. It's called The Worst Christmas Song Ever. It's about some guy that he's tired of buying presents. He's in some other stories on another line waiting to buy like a scarf. And there's some kid in there with like no money and baggy pants, holes in his shoes, is trying to buy his mother a pair of shoes for Christmas because mom doesn't have any shoes. And the clerk says, "I'm sorry, but you're you're a little bit short of the money," and he wants to pay for it, but he probably doesn't. It's a prick. It's just when I listen, it is just so maudlin. It's so mawkish. It is just so morose. It's just, I'm like, this is shit. This is the shit people who are depressed about the holidays should not listen to.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's total. It's fucking garbage. Anyway, I'm not going to do us the indignity of playing it.
The song I hate from the holidays the most, you know what it is, and you disagree with me.
What's that?
Simply having a wonderful.
Oh yeah, McCartney's Christmas.
I know
song.
you like
Yeah.
it, right, Lou?
Yeah. Well, someone said it sounded like he found a Casio in his Christmas stocking.
Well, Lou always did his British accent. He goes, "The sun is up, and that's enough."
And that's enough. Let's snort some kook.
That whole era is.
Yeah.
Okay, so a
With
brief
a
mention.
little luck. Yeah.
I like that song. That was a number
that
one.
is
That
good.
was a number one, buddy.
Yeah.
That's one of Paul's.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving along. This is a bad song. I never knew it was this band. It was the Counting Crows with Vanessa Carlton doing Big Yellow Taxi, Joni Mitchell cover.
Yeah, I don't like that version. Yeah.
I did know.
Yeah.
The Village Voice said it's the worst cover song of the 2000s. New Musical Express said it's the worst song of the 2000s. Joni Mitchell on her website has the review from the Village Voice archived and planted on her website. So evidently, Joni didn't like it either.
Didn't like it either.
It's like it's the version of the song that people at Starbucks would like while they're being seen drinking
There
their
you
coffee.
go.
You know,
There you go.
That's why on the Laurel Canyon tribute, he wasn't around. Like,
Right.
keep this guy out of here, man. You know.
I feel bad that I
I'll
don't
be
like
right
him.
back.
I don't like Counting Crows. I just never got into
I don't
them.
either. I don't either.
I never got it. I think Adam Dirtz, he annoys me, but I know people that say he's great, so I'm sorry, you know.
No,
But
I
it
think
doesn't
the
feel
best-
to me. You know?
I think the best thing he did was he sang backup on the Wallflowers. What was that album that had one headlight and
I like the Wallflowers.
they're
that was
playing the
some-
Orange Peel on the 30th here in Nashville.
Really?
Yeah.
Stephen Wilson played the Orange Peel. I was bugging you about it. Remember that? And you were having a big snowstorm that night, so like
Really?
they cut the show short.
Oh shit! Wow.
But now counting Wallflowers, that was that '90s pop. There's some really good pop from the '90s, and I always had a soft spot for them.
It's funny. I was talking to Louis about them, and he goes, "That's Bob Dylan's song." Louis doesn't like Bob Dylan. It's the voice.
Yeah.
Like Rolling Stone, he gives credit to. But I mentioned the Wallflowers, and I said, he likes the Chili Peppers, and I said, that's Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers. He goes, "Oh,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah."
Oh.
It's and Mike Campbell from the Heartbreakers. It's so most of the Wallflowers are not on that record. I can't think of the name of it.
So Chad Smith is on
Yeah.
Celebrate Independence Day. That song. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did you ever hear their version of the Warren Zevon song "Lawyers, Guns, and Money"?
No.
No.
Wallflowers. They do a pretty decent version. Some good organ playing in there, like B3 organ.
I'll have to check it out.
All right. Are we ready to move along here?
We're ready. Yeah.
Okay. So the next song is from a band called the Cheeky Girls. Cheeky, Cheeky.
Oh, why
From
you
two-
gotta be cheeky?
Cheeky. It's from 2002. The song is called the Cheeky Song, in parentheses, Touch My Bum.
Boy.
And the quote from this is, "Come and smile, don't be shy. Touch my bum. This is life." It's like a Euro trash dance track.
Touch my bum.
And we're not going to get sued for this.
Nice beat.
Not hearing it.
Oh, this is stuff you do the night at the Roxbury.
Yeah. I'm going to fast forward to the chorus. Wait.
That's pretty annoying.
Wait.
Yeah.
touch my bum. This is life.
I'm driving
Oh,
down the
boy.
avenue, Westwood Avenue, blasting this, shaking my head. Hey, girls. Yeah.
Okay. So that was the Cheeky Girls. All right. So the final one, the final song, I saved the best for last. With some pretty cool, interesting footnotes here. It is 1985, The Starship, We Built the City. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
It is considered, I mean, from the album Knee Deep in the Hoopla, it's considered just everything that is bad about 80s rock, everything that helped kill 80s rock and like pave the way for whatever. Maybe hip hop was at the point was going through, but this helped kill rock and roll for other
It's one of
things.
the worst songs ever. I think Bernie Taupin might have been involved in it.
There's a few people involved in it, and one of them in particular is very interesting. That's why I wanted to talk about it. It was called A Real Reflection of What Killed Rock Music in the 80s.
Yeah.
Rolling Stone's #1, the 10 worst songs of the 80s, so it's #1. Grace Slick even said the worst song ever, Awful. You know, she didn't write it, but she sang it and made a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
It was written by Martin Page, Bernie Taupin, Dennis Lambert, and Peter Wolf. Not the Peter Wolf, woof doof woof womp doof woof woof with Jake Giles, but there's a producer, Peter Wolf. So we all know Bernie Taupin as the lyricist for Elton John's classic period.
Yeah.
Martin Page, he produced Robbie Robertson's Storyville record. He's a producer. He produced with Earth, Wind, and Fire, Go West. But this guy, Dennis Lambert, was interesting because he was born like 47. He's been around since the 60s. So he had a songwriting partner. They were a songwriting and producing duo. The guy's name was Lou Potter. And they wrote or co-wrote or produced or co-produced Ain't No Woman Like the One I've Got and Keeper of the Castle for the Four Tops. Don't Pull Your Love, which is a funny thing. By Hamilton Joe Franklin Reynolds.
The Elvis should have recorded that, but
Exactly.
Hamilton Joe Franklin Reynolds.
Don't pull your love, period.
Yep.
For Glenn Campbell, they wrote or produced Grindstone Cowboy and Country Boy. It Only Takes a Minute by Tavares. Baby Come Back, they produced with Player. Remember Player?
Baby, come back.
Yeah.
That's
Rock and Roll Heaven by the Righteous Brothers, not the Self-Righteous Brothers, but the Righteous Brothers. Night Shift by the Commodores, the first thing they did after Lionel Richie left. Pink Cadillac by Natalie Cole. And that's it. So that's something like one of the guys that wrote that piece of shit. It was a #1 song. It was a big hit.
He wrote a couple of other annoying songs too.
Yeah. Well, sure he did.
If you want to redeem, if you want to redeem Page and Taupin slightly, it says the song was based on a demo by Page and Taupin with a darker feel and based on how clubs were dying in Los Angeles.
Wow.
So who knows what it sounded
right.
like? Yeah.
And don't forget the producer put in the stupid keyboards and
Wolf
you
is
know
the one that- Wolf reworked everything.
Well,
Yeah.
probably
Wolf,
David Foster. But no, the thing was that Mark, you mentioned like they wrote about the demise of the whole scene that Grace Slick, at least at that point, helped build. But the fact that this song is so far removed from anything really rock and roll is the ultimate destruction and irony of it.
I'm glad you said David Foster. I can't stand him as a producer.
Perry, I might be wrong, but Mark, do you know who produced that piece of dread?
The producers were Peter Wolf and Jeremy Smith.
Yeah.
Peter Wolf for Doofa Mama Tufa Peter Wolf from Jake Giles.
No, Peter, but you know Peter Wolf, the non Jake. Well, I don't know. Let's see if
No,
this
it's
is,
not. It's not him.
Yeah, it's the other guy.
No, it's not. I know it's not. No.
It does say that on Wikipedia that Peter Wolf's the one that made it the song we know. He made it more upbeat. So
It's his fault.
All right, but those
yeah.
were seriously annoying, bad songs.
Yeah. And I will email you some clips if you can get them in. It would be great. But it was kind of interesting to see how, you know, something as awful as they can be can actually get somewhere. But I have one album mention, a really bad album that I think the title just cracked me up. I got it all off Wikipedia and said, you know, there were a lot of albums throughout history from the 60s on that were on major labels that people were like, well, why the hell did they put this out? This one, it was a posthumous bootleg of Elvis Presley. It was outtakes and songs from his movie career, which really were horrible. It's called Elvis Presley, Elvis's Greatest Shit from 1982.
The Bang Records years.
Elvis's Greatest Shit. Which there was
They have a toilet. Oh, that was terrible.
Well, those Elvis movies. I mean, you know, like he's there, like you know, they're a farmer. Like suddenly has an acoustic guitar and he's singing, you know, whatever. Like, dude,
he's out in the middle of a windswept
it was
field.
The early '60s. You know, that's what it was. You know,
middle of a field with dirt flying everywhere, and he's
like in that thing we do. You know, when they were on the movie set, we're being invaded.
It's just like the Eddie Murphy skit when he's talking about, you know, because he loved those Elvis movies, but he's like, Elvis, We're in a car race. We're going to win this race. Just,
Right.
Anything. He's got a guitar when he needs it. There's a hay bale when he needs it.
But how about we get into some trivia? You guys want some rock and roll trivia?
Can you give me a minute?
Yeah. Can I give you a minute? Of course I can give you a minute. Yep.
Domino's is at the door.
Domino's, my pizzeria. My pizzeria.
Yeah, my pizzeria. Oh, my pizzeria.
Let's see.
I remember, Perry, driving to CPI in the morning, and WNEW 102.7 would be playing We Built This City. And I'd be like,
yeah.
Oh, why are you playing it? It's not rock.
That fucking song. Oh, by the way, the Muscle. Remember we were talking about Muscle Shoals the other week, and we didn't know what they were. The Muscle Shoals band is affectionately called the Swampers, but later they adopted the name the Muscle Shoals Rhythm Section.
Okay,
that's the big. Every studio has their. You know what I mean? Their house band.
Yeah.
Oh, and remember we were talking about Waylon Jennings guitars?
Yes.
Remember I said Waylon? Check this out. So Waylon Jennings had a lot of Telecasters and broadcasters and a lot of those Telecaster-style guitars.
Yeah.
Look who bought the guitar. His number one Telecaster still with the family. His number 3 guitar, 1950, famously purchased for Keith Urban by his wife, Nicole Kidman, for $98,000.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
At least Keith Urban will play it.
But there's the issue: $98,000 for a guitar.
Right. Can you imagine if she bought it for Tom Cruise?
I can't believe that. What's his name didn't buy it? Which
is why Joe Bonamassa.
Joe Bonamassa. Yeah.
Well, which is why you and I, with our meager incomes, we can't even buy a basic Stratocaster now. It's like, come on, it's crazy.
Yeah.
My Stratocaster was $750, and the
Waylon Jennings estate, she $98,000 for a 1950 Fender Broadcaster.
Can you imagine her giving it to him? Oh, here, honey, I gave it to you.
This is the problem. This is why we can't. That's why you have to buy a guitar made in Korea or whatever. Or
I couldn't buy a real Telecaster. I had to buy the lowest G&L Telecaster because I live paycheck to paycheck, and we get screwed, Guitars were never
good. That's a good, but that's a good.
But like guitars were never, like a good guitar was never cheap. Like, so a Strat, you had to really save. I had to save for my Strat before I went down to Victor's Music, but I saved and I was able to buy it. I could never, and I'm older. I'm supposed to have more money now. I can't afford a Strat. I've looked at them.
I want to have a Strat. What do you want another one for?
But I was thinking of getting the ones with the natural finish. You want to become
one of those guys with guitars that you're not using?
Well, I've always wanted a natural finish Strat. The one with the wood, you see the wood. I've always wanted that.
Yeah, like the Al Stewart one.
Yeah, or Richie Blackmore played one. But now they're like, I think they're up to 22,000. I could buy one, but why? Why spend that money?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean,
on the other hand,
I've got my G&L. I want to get another electric guitar. I want to get a semi-hollow one.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't talk about Lou. He can hear us.
I can hear you.
Well, why don't we get into some rock and roll trivia, okay?
Trivia.
Let's get into some rock and roll trivia. Trivia question number 1.
Trivia
question number 1.
Yeah, go for it. Shoot, man.
What is the Moody Blues' only number 1 hit?
Oh, is this
the Moody Blues' only number 1 hit?
Is this blurred out or one at a time, like response from Mark on that?
Lou, what do you think is the Moody Blues' only number 1 hit?
I'm going to say Wildest Dreams.
Marco Smith, what would you say?
I'm just a singer in a rock and roll band.
I think you'll both be surprised to know it was Go Now.
Get the F out.
Oh, you better go.
When was that a number 1?
Only number 1 hit.
In the U.S.? In the
UK.
In the UK, okay.
In the UK, yeah.
Is that with that Denny Lane on guitar?
That. Come on, man.
Denny Lane, yeah. And that was a cover, by the way, too. They didn't write that song. That was a cover. Okay,
All
trivia question number 2. Who co-wrote Because the Night with Bruce Springsteen?
I know it. Yeah. And you know it, Lou.
Yeah. How about you say the first name, I'll say the second name.
Patty
Smith.
Wrong. No, you're both right.
No, she was in Scandal.
Fuck you.
Patti Smith in Scandal.
No, that's Patty Smythe.
It's the dawning of the age of Aquarium.
No,
She was
but
a Smythe,
apparently
not
Bruce
a
had the
Schmitty.
song and he wasn't getting anywhere with it. And I don't know if it was Jimmy Iovine may have told him into like, I need a hit for
Chuck
Patty
Plotkin.
and give it to Patty. And Patty wrote a lot of the
Hey,
lyrics for it.
Bruce, come here. You work with her. Come on.
It's a rare co-write for the boss.
All right,
Yeah.
trivia question number 3.
Number 3.
This one you're going to have to think about a little bit. So we'll. This one's going to take a few
Whoa.
seconds. Yeah.
I can't do that.
That was very
Can you name
condescending.
4 songs that all 4 Beatles sang on?
Well, can we each take a stab, like instead of each of us getting all
take
4?
a stab at it, OJ.
I'm going to go with Because.
All 4 Beatles now. All 4, including
All right.
Ringo.
Maybe I'm wrong then. I'm going with Because is one
Well,
of them.
But there's 4. You got to name a couple of them. There's,
I know, but
you
there's
know,
more.
yeah. Lou, do you want to name a couple of them?
Flying. Yes, no. Flying.
Yeah.
La 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 la. Yeah,
Don't-
that's not
don't-
one of the ones. But there's more. I just had 4 listed, but there's more than that. Flying is one of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Was Because one of them?
No.
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 Because is George. This is 3 of them without Ringo singing.
Don't pass me by. No.
No, all 4 Ringos singing together.
I'm
All 4
trying.
Beatles singing together.
Yeah. Oh, like on a chorus or like a.
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
It's so logical. You're not gonna. You're like.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I
it is.
think so. Logical.
Magical Mystery
Because
Tour?
you know the answers.
Magical Mystery Tour?
Tragical History Tour. All right, I'll give you one. Hey Jude. No, all of them are doing that at the end. Yeah. Yellow Submarine. That's all of them. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Apparently, they all sing on "All You Need Is Love."
Ah.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
didn't know that.
And
Okay.
apparently, they all sing on "Birthday." You know, with the crowd doing. You say it's your birthday. That's all of them. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I wonder why they never did like a 4-part harmony with Ringo. He usually sang with them in like a chorus, like a shout chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could do it. They were
by
jealous.
the way,
They were afraid of
that's
Ringo.
a great drum intro, Birthday. That's an
Yeah.
awesome drum intro.
Yeah. Well, that's
Well, given the fact that Bernard Purdy is a very accomplished drummer, I think it's like a given, you know.
oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, trivia question number 4. Let's see if this works. Which British band had a hit with "Pretty Flamingo" before Rod Stewart? Pretty Flamingo.
Man.
Mark
Pretty
Smith.
things. Pretty things.
Well, Lou's got it. Manfred
Yeah,
Mann.
Yeah.
Before his Earth band.
Featuring Jack Bruce on bass.
Oh,
On
wow.
that song?
Jack Bruce on bass. He was briefly in the band just before
What year?
1966.
Oh, wait a minute.
Just before, and engineered by Jeff Emmerich.
Oh, well, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No,
And the writer of the song, let's see if you guys recognize this name. The guy's name was Mark Barkin.
No. I thought it might have been Curtis Mayfield.
He
No.
he wrote the song "Pretty Flamingo." And-
With the guy, Gnarls Barkley?
No, Mark Barkin.
Okay.
I'm crazy.
In his later years, he wrote some stuff with Blue Oyster Cult. In his later
Mark
years.
Barkin?
Mark Barkin. Yeah,
Wait, I don't know that. How come I don't know that?
he wrote "Pretty Flamingo."
I'm going to reference that. Mark Barkin. B-A-R-K-I-N?
Yeah, Barkan. Yep,
Barkan.
K-A-N?
K with a K. Mark Barkin. Yep.
Yeah, but then K-A-N?
Trivia. Yeah.
He's not gonna
Yep.
have it.
Trivia question number 5. Jimi Hendrix manager Chaz Chandler was the former bass player of what British band?
Fleetwood Mac. No, it's not. No,
Dude,
it's not.
you said it before.
I know it's not. It was a
You
good
said
Jimi
it an
Hendrix.
hour ago.
The Animals.
The Animals.
Los Animales.
The Zoo Inmates.
The New Zoo Review.
It's the New Zoo Review coming right at you.
TV theme.
Hey, Perry, I got a slight correction for you.
Mhm.
Mark Barkin collaborated with Albert Bouchard on his 2018 solo album, Fidelis
Wow.
ad Mortem.
How does he?
Really?
That is such a weird combination.
I'm tired of hearing about this guy, Albert Bouchard, but I know Lou.
Kiss my rosy red eyes.
I'm going to say something. I know that Tom gets on my case, right? We talk about our favorites. I listen to a soccer show in the morning, and Ray Hudson is enamored with Lionel Messi. Every day he has to talk about it. It doesn't bother me. So when we mention Albert Bouchard, it's okay. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
I'm kidding.
or I
But
mentioned Randy
interesting that
Jackson.
He's
this
one of
guy
my
who
heroes.
wrote Pretty Flamingo, right, is worked with Albert
Right.
Bouchard from Blue Oyster Cult in the later
Right
years.
there.
That's so
Right
cool.
there.
That is
Right?
so cool.
Yeah,
That's why Blue
Yeah.
Oyster Cult are really cool, man.
yeah.
Patti Smith
Yeah.
wrote songs with Blue Oyster Cult. Jim Carroll
Yeah.
wrote a song with Blue Oyster Cult.
He
Yep.
was born in 1934 in Brooklyn, New York.
Holy shit!
He's a guy we might have to research into.
before he dies.
He was started in the Brill Building.
Wow.
Well, anyway,
Cool. Yeah.
See where
Let's-
it goes?
let's
go
see
on,
if
yeah.
this. Let's see if
Circle,
this
man.
works. Let's see if this works. If we can. Cars, let the good times roll. Look how cool Ben Orr is.
Rick looks cool.
Great band. Ben Orr's playing a Vox bass. How cool is that?
Wow.
Let
That's
the
from
good
Eng- that's
times
from
roll.
England.
That's
I've
from
seen
England.
that on UHF TV. That was from England.
I think the
Yeah.
next one, if it goes, might have Elliot Easton, the great Elliot Easton's guitar solo. Let's see. Yeah, this guy knows how to service a song, man.
Hey, that's Paul.
Look at that, it's a Vox bass.
That's cool.
Ben Orr is so cool.
There he is.
Greg
Who's
Hawk.
that? That's Greg Hawk, right?
Greg Hawks.
Looks like Oliver from Brady Bunch.
That was so cool, man. There might be one
That
more.
was-
Hold on, let's see if there's one more.
And the great John Robinson on drums.
I think I'm basically
That's
playing
gone.
a Dean guitar.
That's a shame. That's a shame. Oh, by the way, the drummer's solid. Dave Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Ben Orr and Rick Ocasek are both gone, man.
So
That's
do you
a
know
shame.
what gig? You know what
Cars
gig
are
John
over.
Robinson had after the Cars broke up?
John
was he
Robinson
played with-
from Lost in Space, like Robbie Robertson.
Yeah.
Robbie Robertson, the captain of the Jupiter, too.
He played for Peter Frampton for a while.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But they were so good. Like in other words, there were nobody steps on anybody's toes in the
No.
call. When the keyboards come in, it's not like Bon Jovi keyboards.
Yeah.
Like it's so
Yeah.
subtle, and
Mm-hmm.
but and in other words, when Greg Hawkes has a little part there, nobody's stepping over him. It's
Right.
just
Yeah.
the dynamics were so good in that band.
Greg,
Right. And
Greg
nobody's
Hawkes
stepping
was a-
over it. Yep.
Greg Hawkes was one of the first keyboardists to really get into sampling. So, like, I know I never saw them live, but they said you'd see him and he'd be sitting there hitting one key. You'd hear all the keyboards, but that's okay. That's what he wanted to do. You know, he just did it his way. You know,
Yeah.
He was a texturalist. You know, it was like
Yeah.
he could take his
Yes.
moments, but a lot of stuff it was more like odd sounding. Like, I'm thinking like dance all night. Like some weird keyboard sounds in there.
Absolutely, yeah.
moving in stereo or
Yeah.
whatever that song. Yeah,
But the problem is, like, as the '80s went along, it became this thing where Rick Ocasek is the Cars,
yeah.
and then so I think on the Magic,
You really-
album, no, was that Heartbeat City?
You mean because of the videos, because of the MTV?
Yeah, he was their
because of the
star.
success, the music industry. He did solo albums at one point in the '90s.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah,
Which always amazed me because Ben Orr was, to me, my favorite vocalist in that band. And
yeah.
Drive, that song, man, like How can you? I don't, not dissing on Rick Ocasek, but Ben Orr to me was equal to Rick Ocasek.
He was almost like what Buck Dharma was to Blue Oyster Cult, where
yes,
he had like two big radio, like several big, but like Drive is their biggest hit.
Yeah.
But Ben Orr's voice could have been in other bands. Rick Ocasek was very idiosyncratic, although he borrowed heavily from Buddy Holly. I mean, I think as far as that, right?
Good point. I never thought of that until tonight.
Was that a Dean?
You said he borrowed from like the bubble gum, right?
Was it
yummy,
yummy. I don't mind you coming here.
Right. Yeah, but
now, was he about 7? He's about 7'3", wasn't he?
I was thinking he was 8 foot. Yeah, he was a basketball player.
He was like one of those Yugoslavian basketball players.
I'll tell you, man. Ben Orr with that Vox bass. That was
a cool bass, man.
Cool, you know.
Yeah.
You know why I liked Ben Orr? Because he looked like Roger Taylor from Queen, and I love that look.
He did.
Yeah, that's a rock star look. He's the rock star.
Ben Orr was in bands with Ocasek going back, and the funny thing is, it was called the band was called Cap and Swing. But he goes, when you're in a band with Rick Ocasek, he goes, you play Rick Ocasek songs.
Yeah.
So Ben Orr, he might have, I think he didn't write any songs of his own. I don't know if he's got co-writes.
But somebody's got to write the material. I mean, if you're
got
an album, you got
like,
to have material. Yeah.
Yeah, but in every band, like who knew Dave Grohl was a songwriter when he was in Nirvana, or a guitar player. But like a guy like Ben Orr, he probably had 1 million songs. He had a solo record. Remember his hit from the solo record?
What was it?
Stay the night. Don't follow. Stay the.
Yeah.
It could have been like a companion piece to Drive.
I remember Phil Collins' solo record. So it's a studio.
You just knew when Ben Orr, even back then, I knew that I said he's got a lot of songs. You knew he was writing a lot of songs.
Yeah. But also, like, how about this? Being a smart guy, music is something where most people don't make it. So he's in a band with a guy that is writing hit song after hit song, and he's in the band, and they're friends. They were obviously lifelong friends. He was in the Cars until the end.
They've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, Mark.
I learned the other night. I was doing a search on Cars, listening to them, and I did not know that after Ben Orr died, Rick Ocasek got back together with the Cars, and they did an album. And they refused to get a bass player. Greg Hawkes did all the bass on his keyboards.
Okay.
And I listened to a couple songs. It wasn't bad, but it was nice. I did not know. I thought Rick Ocasek never went back to them.
No, it was about 2010 or 11, I think.
It was after they did the tour with Todd Rundgren, the new Cars. Yeah.
Or as John Lennon called him, Turd Rundgren.
Turd Rundgren.
I'm sure Andy Partridge refers to him as that too.
Yeah.
But
he fucked up my album.
But the Cars, man, I mean, they're I don't know, like those first songs they had. What was My Best Friend's Girl? Like, I can't hear that anymore.
Yeah,
My Best Friend's Girl,
or even Just What I Needed.
Well, Circuit City ruined that for everybody.
Yeah,
damn commercial. I always said the first 3 albums for me I can listen to. They got. Once the Shake It Up album came out, I kind of lost them. They got too pop, and they got
that was very pop. Yeah,
they got the guy, the AC/DC producer and Shania Twain guy. What was his name? He produced them.
Robert
Candio was a pretty good
Candio's
record.
my favorite album.
That's your favorite record.
Yeah,
Candio. It flows.
Even the song
so
Candio is cool.
It is.
Great drums on it, right? Yeah.
It's got some great keyboards, like almost like sequenced keyboards.
Yeah.
And the precursor to it, the song before it is Shooby Doo. So it's Shooby Doo 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 bam ba again band again. Yeah,
Candio's like a album cut, isn't it? Really, in a sense,
it was never a single.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
I even like now from the album after that. I forgot the name. The single "Touch and Go."
Yeah, Panorama.
Touch and Go. That's a good song.
That's a country and a rock song.
It's a country. It's a country new wave song.
It is. Yeah.
And I remember that album kind of not failed, but it didn't do nearly as good because it's a very dark album.
Yes, it is.
There's little Buddy Holly things in there. Touch and Go.
Yeah.
And the drumming on it. There's a very that intro part. All I need is what you've got. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. It's a weird it's not 4/4 timing. So new wave, the Cars were about that chugging rhythm guitar that 38 Special adopted.
Yeah.
38 Special. They were the Cars of Southern rock.
They were Southern pop. 38
Case in point.
Pop and Western.
The lead guitarist of 38 Special He was in a band
Tom.
with Ben Orr at the time of Ben Orr's death.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The other
There's
song,
a-
the other
Yeah.
song on Panorama, "Give Me Some Slack." Some slack.
Give me some.
The way he's like, "Give me some."
What else? What else is on
Black.
Candio?
Oh, Candy. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask him.
What? He's going to get it? I thought he was going on his computer. He's going to get the record.
Perry, did you send me that interview? It's with all the cars. Ben Orr is about on his last legs, and stuff. And he's very quiet.
wasn't he?
He's ill, but they're all talking. I forgot the show it was on.
Yeah,
it was a really
wasn't
good
me.
interview. But Elliot Easton was the most animated. He's the one that spoke the most about
Yeah.
that. But it was a
Yeah.
great interview. It was very,
Yeah.
very respectful.
he
they
only
were
ended
all
up in
getting
Boston.
along. What's that?
He only ended up in Boston to go to friggin' Berkeley School of Music. Elliot Easton.
Elliot, he's a Berkeley grad, and he plays like
I don't know if
plays
he's a
like that.
graduate, but he went there. Yeah.
How come he doesn't, but how come he doesn't play all slick and like California like?
How come he doesn't play like those jazz guys? Yeah.
It's what Jim Bogart aptly called that Berkeley Strat sound.
Yeah.
I got my
What-
reissue
it's a
here.
little too slick, man.
Yeah.
My
What else?
reissue
is
of
on
Candio.
Yeah.
I got my reissue of that, and I got my reissue of Panorama. Those are the two albums I'll stick with. Since I Held You, It's All I Can Do. It's all I can do.
That's a great
Wait,
pop song.
That's
It's all
on
I can
Panorama.
do.
Yeah.
That's on
No,
Candio.
no. Candio.
Candio.
Waiting for you.
You Can't Hold On Too Long. It's all right. Got a Lot on My Head. And
Okay.
Dangerous Type. He's a
Dangerous
dangerous
song.
Type.
type.
Yeah, that's another one.
She's
Yeah.
a lot like you.
So they did.
It's a dark album, man.
What I found out was they were doing photos for the cover of the album, and then they couldn't get it right. So John Robinson did the cover. He painted like a version of
Yeah,
the
they
photo.
had shitty album covers, the cars. That
They
was one
did.
thing about it.
That
They
was
had-
David Robinson, not John Robinson.
Oh, David,
from Lost,
David.
from
not
Lost in
John,
Space.
not John Robbie Robertson, the captain.
I'll
of
never get that
Jupiter
right.
2.
Warning! Warning! Brain damage.
Yeah, good albums. Those
But,
two. See, I didn't get the first one on the reissue, but I got these two. These are my favorite Cars albums, Panorama and Candy.
I'm gonna listen to Candio tomorrow.
Yeah, great car, great thing to crank in the car.
Now, I remember at that point when the second album came out, they did some kind of like in concert. There was like no studio on it. It was them on a stage. It wasn't Don Kirshner or Midnight Special. It was like an ABC special.
Okay.
I thought it was cool, but like they said the same thing. They were like the Eagles, They weren't cavorting around stage. I don't need cavorting around stage anyway.
Yeah.
If you stretch out, if it's good, like Blues or Coldplay.
And I mean, in the Cars, the most animated one is probably Elliot Easton and the keyboard player. Like he's just mouthing the song as
Actually,
as he's playing.
the lead guitarist, he's probably the most because he would do a pose every so often. Elliot Easton.
But my point being, like, I don't need people to explode in front of me on stage.
Right. Yeah.
If they stretch out and it's good, Blues or Cole played 8 songs for a concert, which was bullshit. There was all this stretching out guitar solos, but they kept it concise. There was no jamming. That was one of the criticisms of bands like that and the Eagles, where they said they didn't stretch out on stage like the Grateful Dead or whomever.
They don't need
to.
They don't need to. Well, that wasn't the idea. Like, Take It to the Limit wasn't meant to be played for 15 minutes,
Yeah.
Unlike Do You Feel Like I Do by Frampton.
And not jumping
My
around
sweet
on
Lord.
Sweet Emotion.
Oh.
Lou, you had stepped out before to get a pizza, and I had showed Mark this
They
thing.
put
that,
anchovies on my pizza.
Look, Waylon Jennings.
No anchovies, please.
Nicole Kidman bought one of Waylon Jennings' 1950 broadcasts for $98,000
Why'd she buy it?
for her husband, Keith Urban, the country singer. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
I did say to Perry,
They're both
it sucks that
Australian, by the
At
way.
least
Okay.
Keith Urban will play it. If you bought it for Tom Cruise, he would never play it.
Absolutely.
obviously,
In
so.
fact,
Yeah.
Marty Stewart still to this day
Broadcaster.
Marty Stewart to this day still plays Clarence White's original B-Bender Telecaster.
Wow.
To this day,
Wow.
you'll see Marty Stewart with
Really?
it anytime you
That's
see
cool.
him. He'll be playing Clarence White's original B-Bender guitar. He
Yeah,
doesn't just
Perry-
want it to have it. He plays it.
Would you refresh our 37 subscribers and saying, what was the Parsons B-Bender string? Who invented it? Who were the two people?
Gene Parsons
Gene Parsons. Okay.
and
Now,
Clarence White.
Okay, now who was Gene Parsons?
Gene Parsons was a member of the Byrds or the Burrito Brothers.
Was he a Burrito brother?
Yeah, he was with Clarence White. Maybe it was in the Flying Burrito Brothers.
Okay.
But he did actually Gene Parsons was really the engineer. So he routed out the back of a Telecaster, and Clarence White wanted it to sound like a steel guitar. So the B string is the key to that. The B,
Correct.
It's a B bender. So he put like a banjo knob. If you see Marty Stewart, you'll see it. It's got regular, but the one knob, the B, is like got a banjo tuner on it, and it's
Okay.
facing back.
Okay.
And he put this mechanism in there with a big spring, and it's attached to the guitar strap. And if you pull down
Clever.
the first song on "Sweetheart of the Rodeo," it sounds like a steel guitar, but it's Clarence White on the Telecaster.
Okay.
You ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
And I used to think it was a steel guitar, but it's not. It's Clarence White on the Telecaster.
I was singing that song to Mark earlier.
Really?
You ain't going nowhere.
You ain't going nowhere, brah.
And what's my name tonight? My name is Please Let Me Stay Here. That's another
Also,
song.
Lou, I had one other thing that while you were out, we covered this. The Muscle Shoals band was called the Swampers, affectionately.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but they became the Muscle Shoals rhythm section, but they were affectionately. So every studio has their house band is called something. Yeah.
So
They were called the Swampers.
Who's the guy
Swamp ass.
Who was the guy that played on Roger Hawkins?
Roger
Was
Hawkins,
he Was he a swamper?
He was a swamper. Yeah, he was a swamper.
Okay.
Yep. And John Fogerty was never in the Bayou. He never was in the Bayou, but he sounded
California.
like he was. Yeah.
He
Bay
used
Area,
to call
by the
that.
way.
He used to call.
I
He
thought
loved the term.
he was from the onion fields of Bakersfield.
No, they're from El Cerrito. Yeah.
He loves in his autobiography. He loves to use the term chugolin. That's chugolin music, and I could hear him saying, "I used to play chugolin music." He
No, it's
loves
not
that term.
Chuglin, it's Chuglin.
Chugolin music. Yeah, I
Keep
got
on
it wrong.
Chuglin.
Yeah.
But this is what I love about Creedence. I got to tell you this. They didn't buy into that hippie jam acid.
They were
They were
different.
there at the same time
Yeah,
in the
that's
Bay
right.
Area, but
Yeah.
they didn't buy into that shit. You
No.
know?
No.
They
Yeah.
didn't buy into that at all.
And-
That's what
and-
I respect about them and
But-
like about them. Yeah.
But
All those bands were friends. Like when John Fogerty did some kind
He
of
played with the
fundraiser.
Dead. Yeah. he
Yeah,
toured
when they
with
did
the
that
Dead.
fundraiser at Golden Gate Bridge, there was Jerry Garcia. Like they all know and they respect each
Absolutely.
other. But yeah, John, what I said, Fogerty was a rebel kind of to the '60s, and I appreciate that. Like he was just a totally
Well,
different look.
Those early covers they did were kind of jam bandy, but they weren't
They were
not
good.
acid rock. They didn't
No,
go
no,
for
no,
all that, you know.
there were the rhythm section stayed tight.
Yes.
Almost
Yes.
like a Motown rhythm section. So the guitars would jam over that, but they didn't go into the ethereal, multi anything like
Right.
the rhythm sections kept it tight into the groove.
Yeah.
I just hate that bad edit in Susie Q when they're going dun, dun, dun,
What
and then
bad
it's here. There's
What you
all of
talking
a sudden
about?
where Fogerty goes dun dun. You can hear it's an edit, and it's like, come
was
on.
there a flip side, like a part 2 or?
I don't know. Just listen to the full Susie Q, and they're
I've listened
jamming,
to it
and you're getting
100
into it.
times.
And then
I-
the part where he
I-
really strums the chords, he goes dun. That you can hear it's an edit.
So
Well,
that
obviously
was
it sounds
a
like
jam, though.
it sounds like
Yeah.
a Joe Dorigo punch-in from Ridge
It
Recorders.
sounded like a bad punch in.
A bad punch-in. Yeah. A hair second too late.
Oops. Let me see if I can.
Engineer.
No,
That's
let
hard
me see.
stuff to do. Punch-ins.
Let me see if something
Not if
happens
you're good
here.
at it,
Let's.
Mark.
I won't say anything.
That's
Let's
right.
see what happens here. Okay. Keith Moon is not even looking.
Much more virtuoso on this than
Yeah.
later
It's
on.
the early days. That's how stiff Robert. What's his name was? Look how rigid Roger Dolce is when they were mod.
Yeah.
He
And
was
Pete.
a good
Pete's
fucking
stiff, too.
drummer, man. You know, Keith Moon was a good fucking drummer.
Yes, he was.
He was.
I
Look how. Did you see his hi hat rocking like that?
Oh
Look,
yeah. Oh yeah. He was.
I love watching Pete Townsend on that.
He used all four limbs a lot.
Let me
think
play
about
it one
Keith
more
is-
time. Let's see.
Yeah.
Look how loose he is.
Yeah.
Look at the hi hat.
Yeah. It's almost falling over.
I think Townsend starts doing the twist.
Oh, it's horrible.
Oh my God.
I think Pete Best would have been. I think Pete Best would have done great in the Who.
God.
No way.
The thing about Moon, he always said, and a lot of English drummers like Mitch Mitchell too. He goes, it's all in the wrists, isn't it? I've always said Keith Moon, like, the way he played so full on, he probably would have stiffened up a lot if he didn't use his wrists the way he did.
Yeah.
If you look at him, it's just very. That's how you get that snap
Yeah.
without fatiguing. Because if you tighten up in your wrists, Max Weinberg learned this lesson when he had tempo issues. He goes, I was relaxed up and down to my wrists, and then I was tight. Otherwise,
So you're
your
using
forearms
these
crimp
muscles
up
a
and you
lot
start
more,
playing
right?
stiff. Yeah. So,
But he
but
was-
if you look at Moon, he's flipping.
And he's
he's
not
almost,
hitting the hi hat, but the hi hat is
no,
just
the heights.
it's just
well,
there in
he's
tempo.
doing,
like his
he's doing
foot,
it with his
yeah.
foot. Yeah.
Yeah,
But if you look at it, that's not unlike Ginger Baker, right there.
Yes, that's true.
yeah,
Sure.
yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but that was way back. That must have been like 1965 when they were still a mod band or something.
I would
right?
say
sure.
before that.
It might have been earlier. It might have been 64, right?
Yeah.
It could be 66. I mean, at that point.
Yeah, they all of a
Yeah.
sudden became a hippie band overnight. Like Roger Daltrey went boom, his hair came out.
Well,
Yeah.
at that point, they said they weren't successful in the U.S. until Tommy. That was
Yeah.
69. So they were on, the whole period, the British invasion, they were here, but they weren't really latched on. But it took them, at least for the U.S. market.
Yeah, yep.
Right.
And, that's kind of funny. Like they did commercials for the armed services, which
Really?
if you look at the times of the 60s, most rock musicians were not doing that. They did
Yeah.
things for the Royal Air Force. I'm not sure what, I
Wow.
mean, I'm not, we all know Pete's politics, but we don't have to get into that. Although we
Well,
could.
If I can just
He's a neocon, he said.
if I can just say, you know what?
Ooh,
I'd like to thank our friends,
we
our
done?
listeners, our
Are we
viewers.
done? Wait, are we done?
We're nearing it. Yeah,
We're nearing it. Okay.
our subscribers.
Mark has to start packing.
Stop it, man. Stop.
And I'd like to say, I hope you can join us next time on our next episode. We're going to be talking about and maybe listening to for a segment of some of our favorite TV show themes.
And Mark is going to an album from 1974 that's got its 50th anniversary that nobody's talking about. He might just talk about for about 3 minutes.
I have nude photos.
Because Mark
of
only
people.
needs 3 minutes. He doesn't need any more time. Usually it's 90 seconds, but 3 minutes will do. So,
All right. Well, anyway, this has been episode 59 of the Music Relish Show. Let's see if we
We're
have an
done?
outro. I think we're done. Let's see if we have an outro.
all respect to Randy Jackson.
Randy Jackson.
Yeah. Of
See that? Was he that VJ on MTV?
No,
J.J.
he was the
Jackson.
guy that played the
Triple J
BC.
coming at you.
Triple J coming at you. But first, a word from Snickers.
He played the BC Rich double neck. Leave him alone.
Now, was Rick Ocasek playing a Dean guitar in that clip?
It
Looked
looked
like
like
it.
one of those, yeah,
Yeah,
because
yes,
it
it
had
did.
that head that pointed the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
way, right?
It was almost like a Leland Sklar weird
Yes,
odd-shaped
yes.
headpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Headstock. They call that in the guitar business.
Well, anyway, let's see what happens here.
I'm not
Okay,
ready to
let's
go.
see if
No.
anything happens.
So I'm staying on.
Oh no, it's the end of another Music Relish show with Lou, Mark, and Perry. Take care, take cover, good night, goodbye. That's the Music Relish show with Lou, Mark, and Perry.
And
And
Oppenheimer.
we really hope to hear from you soon. Good night.
Put your head under your desk. Kiss your ass goodbye.
Ooh, it's the remix.
Oh, the Music Relish show.
Gotta find a place to live now.
To our subscribers.
Thank you. To echo a friend of ours, even if no one listened, we'd still be talking and that would still be good.
MusicRelishShow@gmail.com. Call the Music Relish Show.
Apple, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Amazon Alexa. Bring it back.
Overcast.
Plastercast.
Oh, you had to
Want to
throw
see
that in
mine?
there, didn't
Come on.
I got mine over here. Right?
you? Watch, Lou's going to play drums. Watch, coming up on television.
No, it's not. You didn't.
I did. Music Relish. Yeah.
My favorite
Dill.
condiment.
I
Music
put some
Dill
dill
Relish
on
Show.
my smoked salmon and bagels this morning.
There he is.
Working musician.
Called the Music Relish Show. Mark and Perry and Lou.
Oh, hip-hop.
Music Relish Show. The Music Relish Show.
Andy out.
Yeah.
Good night.
Gotta say, it was a good day, right?
It was a good day.
I didn't take my vitamin A.
I
I
did.
took my vitamin B.
Oh, you know, I forgot today, in fact. Yeah. Damn, man. Well, it was a good show, don't you think, Lou?
I do.
You want to
I had
sign
fun.
off, Lou? Since you didn't sign off last week, you want to say farewell,
Sure.
everyone?
I'd like to say thank you to our listeners. Thank you for subscribing. If you like us,
Yes.
subscribe, like. We won't send you anything, And feel
Right.
free to email us at, as Mark said earlier, musicrelishshow@gmail.com.
Good, man.
If there's some corrections, some suggestions, things you like, things you don't like. Anyway, we do this because
Yeah.
it's fun. And
Yep. Next week, we're going to do a
Perry,
small
go
segment
fuck
on
yourself.
TV show themes, our favorites.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. And many other things. Yep.
And we have a lot of shows on archive. So if you like this, check out some of our past shows.
Yeah.
Our last one on Buffy St. Marie, the thing's got about 475 views. So if you don't know who Buffy St. Marie is, and if you don't like vibrato, you'll be a friend of ours.
And we may have a New
Wow.
Orleans episode coming up, right? In a few weeks, right?
We got some homework to do.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to say good night. Farewell, everyone.
Good night.
Farewell.
Good night.
Good night.